That was horrible.
I'm dreaming of a black Christmas, killing some people in the snow, where the cell phones are ringing, glass unicorns are swinging, impaling everyone you know. I'm screaming on a black Christmas, with yellow killers out on attack.
Jaundice, you know.
So please be wary, watch your back, because this Christmas is black.
Pretty good.
That's it. That's not bad.
We did not rehearse that.
No,
I
that
want
was
everyone to know that was
that's
completely done with pantomimes and improv.
We did it. I was giving Derek the cues the whole time.
I was only looking at you half the time.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
that's-
why I decided to look away from you.
The
for a
Holy
good portion of
Spirit.
that.
This is what they mean about the Holy Spirit of
the
Christmas, right? The
spirit.
Christmas
the Holy
Spirit.
Spirit's different. That's the thing that lives inside of you when you're religious.
But the Christmas spirit is also something that like possesses you in the Christmas time, right? Like why else would
Yeah.
anybody go caroling if they were not possessed by a Christmas demon?
you know, okay, so I went caroling the other day
Oh, you
up at a
did?
big fancy hotel.
Wow, look
and
at you. Did you have fun costumes and everything?
yeah, it was awesome. True story. When I was driving up there about halfway through, I heard
Were
a
you
knock
in
at my
costume
door.
on the way?
Well, no.
Okay, because that'd be really great if I was like seeing you drive up to this fancy resort. I'd turn to the side and there's this man in like this this cloak and this top hat in his
Yeah.
car.
Well, but have you ever thought about how a caroler gets its costume?
No.
Like,
How does it, is it like how an angel gets its wings?
Similar, yeah.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
so as you're driving to wherever you're going to carol for the day,
Yeah.
you hear a knock at the door, and you look to the left, and normally there's a spirit there.
Yes.
and they let themselves into your car.
Oh,
without,
so you don't invite them.
No, you actually can't.
Angels
At
do not
that
abide by like
point,
vampire rules.
It's really dangerous during snowstorms because
Okay.
you lose complete control of your body, and you're just holding onto the
Lord,
steering wheel,
yeah,
screaming
Jesus take
and-
the wheel kind of situation.
Yeah, but Jesus isn't anywhere. to be
Jesus is
seen.
not there. Jesus is gone.
Anyway, and then they take over your body, and it is horrifying and terrifying. But when you wake up, you're standing in front of a group of people singing these caroling songs you've never even heard in your
So
life.
you wake up in the midst of it.
Yeah, normally.
Normally, do you know the song at all?
Well,
like, do you have to?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, yeah, they're normally in like some crazy language you've
So
never
if you've
heard
ever
before.
been like watching Christmas carolers and one of them kind of comes to and starts screaming,
Yeah.
he doesn't know the words. That's this Christmas spirit is left.
This Christmas spirit is gone.
So Christmas spirits are kind of tricksy, huh? They really don't abide by any kind of kindness or any rules. They're just
No.
like at any point we're like we're gonna let you go. Bye.
No, but that's what fills it with joy.
Yeah.
And a lot along that line of joy is this podcast that I'm a big fan of called That Was Horrible.
That was horrible. Yeah, no, we're the co-hosts. One of them is Isaac,
Isaac
and also the other one.
Derek. is the
Oh,
other
right.
one, yeah.
That's me, and that's you.
Yeah.
We know
You're
them.
Isaac.
We know that. And you are Derek.
Yeah.
I know them. They are we.
The spirit of Christmas is here with us today.
Welcome into the show. This is That Was
Horrible.
Horrible. It's a show where we do our best
at doing the worst.
at reviewing
Horror podcasts.
horror movies. Some
we
say they're the
actually-
worst. Maybe we say otherwise, you know?
We actually review other people's horror podcasts. So today we will be reviewing. I'm just kidding.
Today
What a weird concept.
That'd be. Can you imagine?
You'd run out of content so fast.
No, you would. But that's the same as like people just doing like reaction videos on YouTube, where it's
Yeah.
just them watching other people's things
Yeah.
and reacting to it. I'm like, sometimes I feel I get kind of upset about that. I'm like, this person has done nothing except put a camera in front of themselves and then just like react to things with their like, like just big reactions on things.
Wasn't
like that's
that-
nothing.
Well, there was that really famous guy that like he made a bunch of money just doing that.
John Denver did that.
Well, no, he's dead. So
Oh, shoot.
it was this other guy. It was like I don't remember. It was like a basketball player. He like went online and literally has like 3 clips of himself going, "Oh, ooh," and then he like paid someone to TikTok farm and like put his face reacting to other TikToks
And-
to steal their content.
Man, you can do anything. What are we doing over here doing
I don't
podcasts?
know.
Let's just make 3 weird pictures of ourselves and have a TikToker farm it.
Yeah. So this episode is actually sponsored by us not having sponsors. If you like us,
if you would love to give us a sponsorship this year, please, sir, for Christmas this year, I would love to have a sponsorship. It would mean so much to me to be able to be like, all right, and here's an ad break in the middle of our show.
We could pretend. All right,
and now it's time for the ads.
Sponsored by Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, see, we have to make something up, though.
Jonathan Groff is a famous singer and actor. He's famous for the role of that guy from Frozen.
And we're here to
he's
sponsor...
also in Mindhunter.
We're here to sponsor his new cereal, Groffos. I love every morning I wake up and I go down to the kitchen, I pour myself a big bowl of Groffos.
And right next to that, I got my Groffy.
That's right. Sorry, we're also doing the Jonathan Groff branded coffee.
Yeah.
Next to my Graffanas, and those are my Jonathan Groff branded bananas.
Oh,
yeah.
Grapples,
of course.
That's actually a thing.
We got the we got grapples, Graffanas. We got the Groffy
and if you're jobless,
Groffos.
I don't know. It's like Jonathan. Jobless.
Jobless is what we'll be without a sponsorship. So please, if you can find it in your heart to give us a sponsorship, Jonathan Groff, if you're listening to us.
Dude, if Jonathan Groff was listening to this podcast, that'd be insane.
What if I was a celebrity, I would just go through and find some random podcast and start listening to it. I would just search
my name and see who was like talking.
Who's talking about me? What do you got to say?
Really dangerous, really fast though. I feel like your mental health would just plummet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah, it would be bad.
But it's the Christmas spirit, guys. We're in the Christmas season. It's the snowflakes are falling and all the lights are everywhere. I don't know why I decided to talk like this, but here we are. It's Christmas time.
Well, we were before the podcast started talking about how we needed a British character. So I think you were just doing your part.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're doing
your duty. Before we continue, I do want to mention this episode is a little bit of a content advisory. We're going to be talking about some pretty brutal murders of some college students.
Yep.
So
sorority girls in a house.
I will be also mentioning some real life serial killers. So if that stuff bugs you, there you go. There's your content warning. Also, another content warning that I think we need to do at every episode. There's a lot of funny stuff, man. Like, we're really funny.
Content warning, comedy incoming.
Comedy is here, and comedy is now.
Some funny shit's gonna happen.
And if you're scared of comedy, then you've come to the right place.
Hello, we're here to scare you with comedy.
Nothing scarier.
Nothing scarier than when one of your best friends comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to try stand-up. You want to come check it out?"
It's like you're standing right now.
That's terrifying. I'm terrified, honestly, of that. But so what is like, Derek? If you could just like off the top of your head come up, what's a movie that's a horror-based movie? It's around the Christmas time. It involves brutal murders of some college sorority girls.
It's
thinking.
Probably.
Don't say Elf. You cannot say Elf.
Dang it!
It is not. The answer is not Elf.
It's Jim Carrey goes to a town in a green suit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right?
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Title of the movie.
Jim Carrey goes to town in a green suit. He's just walking around in his green suit.
But people get murdered.
But yeah, and then people keep doing this funny thing where they like green screen his suit so it does funny stuff to it.
Oh, that's actually really clever.
That's not bad, right?
That's pretty good.
It's a great movie. The Grinch is a great movie, though.
I guess they would have never have been able to use a green screen.
No, absolutely. No, of course not.
Physically impossible.
He blended in with everything.
That's why everything in that movie was practical.
It's
right?
all real stuff, really, though. Actually, funny enough, the Jim Carrey live action Grinch movie, there's that scene where that one girl is shooting Christmas lights onto her house.
Yeah.
And the way they shot that was actually in reverse. Yeah, so they were like sucking them in, and then they play it backwards, so it looks like a shooting.
Which I don't know what's more impressive. Sucking them in or pushing them out.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the worst sentences I've said.
No, that's bad. That's a bad thing. So anyway, Derek, what's a Christmas horror movie?
Oh, right, this question.
Yeah.
Probably, so it's about Tom Hanks and he gets on a train and
everything is CGI.
And everything is CGI.
And I mean
no
everything.
practical effects in that bullshit.
It's all fake. It's all bullshit.
Okay, ask me again.
Okay, yeah, Derek, tell me about a movie that's a horror movie, sorority girls, murder, Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a guy, he's like really depressed. He's standing on a bridge outside of a college and he wants to die and never wishes he was born. And then he goes and just kills a bunch of people.
And then he goes on a killing spree.
And they call that one, It's a Wonderful Knife is a real movie now.
Oh,
so
shit, you're right. That we can't. It's just, it's a Wonderful Life, like Killing Spree edition.
KS edition.
KS. You don't tell people what that is. The censors would have a
Okay,
fit.
ask me again.
What's the
fun
movie?
bit.
What's the movie we watched today for this episode?
Well, now I just have to say what it is. You didn't ask me to elaborate. We watched Black Christmas, but not the acclaimed 1974 Black Christmas.
And also not the
Slightly less
acclaimed 2019 version, which I didn't even know existed until we started watching this one. No, we are talking about Black Christmas from 2006.
Which is funny.
It's a funny movie.
It's hilarious.
It's
No,
comedic
not.
time.
I actually don't think I laughed once during the course of this movie, which arguably would have made the movie better.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If I had done that. But first, Isaac, we've spent a long time riffing, but we haven't asked, how are you doing?
How are we doing? How's the Christmas?
This is like one of my favorite
Christmas
parts
season
of
treating
our
us.
podcast is when we spend like 5 minutes just like checking in, What's
Just
up?
checking in. And then this is your time to check in as well, listener. Like how you doing? Reflect on that.
I have
while we
made
reflect.
it a personal goal
Yeah.
to watch every single Muppet Christmas movie.
That's a
year.
great way to spend the Christmas season.
And
actually,
I'm done. I've watched every Muppet special.
How many
for
are
the
there? Because
Christmas.
you told me that, and I was like, okay, so you're gonna watch a Muppets Christmas Carol?
1, 2,
Is that it?
3,
He's
4,
counting 4, 5. That's a lot
There are
more than
5.
I thought.
There's Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppets Christmas Letters to Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got a Muppet Family Christmas, a
Okay.
very Muppet Christmas movie, and John Denver and the Muppets, A Christmas Together.
So John Denver is in the mix.
Yeah, oh yeah, he is.
I wasn't lying.
That was actually before his plane crashed. So
fair. That's fair. I would hope so. If it was after the fact, and now.
oh, we can move on.
No. It's the very special guest, the ghost of John Denver.
That's fucked. And he's a Muppet.
yeah, no, exactly.
It's
the Muppet Show with our very special
guest, the ghost of John Denver. Oh!
Anyway.
Hey everyone, it's me, John Denver, back from the grave. Whoa, why was I Bob Dylan? No, or that wasn't even. That was like Ringo Starr.
Yeah, that was
from the
something
Beatles.
very. Is that your
It's
British
fine.
character?
No, we don't have to talk about that. You know what I did watch though? That
What did you did watch?
Sucked. Don't watch A Sudden Case of Christmas.
A Sudden Case of Christmas.
It's that
Tell
new
me about
Danny
this.
DeVito Christmas movie, and it takes place in
No,
like
Danny
it ta-
DeVito was in a
he's
bad one?
Barely in that movie. It's so bad. The movie was just basically a bunch of awful people doing awful things.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No,
than that. It
sometimes
doesn't
those things
deserve
just
it.
make me sad. Where it's just like, yeah, this movie just made me feel bad.
If you go to watch Christmas movies, just skip that one.
Yeah.
I did watch Don't Move. Have you heard of this one?
I've not heard
This
of
is
Don't Move.
It's a horror movie from this year,
Okay.
actually. It was produced by Sam Raimi, which is why
Okay.
I was like,
no, I do remember seeing like the trailer for this one. This woman has like, if I'm getting this right, a woman has like a limited amount of time before she loses all bodily function. Is that right?
yeah. So that's what the trailer. That's
all the trailer showed us.
Showed you,
And
yeah.
I was honestly curious because I'm like, okay, how can we turn that into a full-fledged movie?
Me too, and that's why I watched it. 'cause
And then
I was
they
like,
did.
This seems very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, the director's name is Adam Schindler. I definitely thought it was Adam Sandler when I clicked on the movie, and I was like, "What the fuck is he doing in
Adam
horror?"
Sandler, Sam Raimi produced Don't Move.
Which is the craziest idea.
That's a
but-
lot. That's a lot of things.
No, but so Finn Whitrock, Whitrock, he plays like this crazy serial killer.
Okay.
Phenomenal work.
Really?
Yeah, like he kind of carries the movie on his shoulders.
He's got a face that looks like that man. He looks like he could be a really good like American Psycho.
Yes, and a lot of people were actually pining for him to be American Psycho
Yeah,
as well.
instead Austin Butler got
But,
it.
Elvis.
Which can we? Austin Butler famously played Elvis recently, right?
Yeah.
And he could not shake the demon of Elvis from his body,
Which is
What's-
arguably hilarious for a horror movie.
No, you're right. But what's going to happen when he plays a character like him? When he plays is it Bateman?
Yeah.
Patrick Bateman, serial killer, crazy psychopath man.
Or is he?
And if he gets stuck in that mindset, are we in danger?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, hold
We
on.
have
If
another Heath Ledger situation.
Yeah, if we have like the Elvis situation, but for Patrick Bateman, I always want to say Norman Bates, but that's a completely different thing. Psycho.
Both good, though.
Both great, but also I'm a little scared of Austin Butler and what he's going to do. But anyway, this Finn guy, what's he doing?
Yeah, he played the serial killer in the movie. I gave the movie 3 stars on Letterboxd. I thought it was
Okay.
a good time. Like if you're looking for like a different serial killer horror movie,
Yeah.
I would watch that one over the other one that I watched this year that I complained about to you.
Fair,
Do you remember
fair.
what it was?
Yeah, it was.
Strange Darling.
Strange Darling, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps talking about it, and I feel like you
You
told
should
me
watch it.
But you told me you're like you don't have to, but everyone's still talking about it. I
know.
feel like I have to at this point.
I think my opinion was tainted
for
because
our
I watched
fans.
I
Our
watched
fans want this.
Well, here's the problem. I didn't even have it on my horror list because
Yeah.
I didn't consider it horror.
It didn't look like
and then
it.
everybody is like, "Oh, it's one of the top horror movies of the year."
I mean, it's just like how last year everyone was like Godzilla -1 was one of the best horror movies.
That's
I'm like,
an
it's
action
tough.
movie.
It's an action movie. It has a monster in it. It's tough. It's a whole thing. You can think whatever you want about it. But yeah, so I feel similarly where I'm like, I don't know. Is it a horror movie? But
Yeah, I don't know. I did like Don't Move though. It was like it didn't do anything like new and original, but it had some shocking moments that I thought were really, really fun.
Yeah.
And they did cool things with that premise of like having a girl go into a catatonic state.
No, which is good because I like the fact that there's a movie like that where like it seems like both of us had the similar thought where it's like, okay, how can you turn this short-lived thing into a full feature-length movie?
And they did.
It makes it curious. It makes me
feel like
want to go see it.
I do feel like there weren't any rules. If that makes sense, like her abilities, like what she could do.
Yeah.
very,
Wild catatonic.
very wildly ranged.
Yeah.
Ranged very wildly.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like scene to scene. You're like, oh, she's doing something else.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But
Yeah, it sounds like you've been having a pretty good Christmas time this year, watching Muppets Christmas things and watching Don't Moves and Strange Darlings.
You know what kicked ass?
What did?
The Simpsons Christmas special.
Really?
Yes, I came out of nowhere, dude.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing is 40 minutes of Ned Flanders having a faith crisis.
Oh?
Which is the greatest premise for a Simpsons special. And and Homer
Interesting to
Simpson
do a
becomes
faith
a
crisis.
cult leader.
What?
In one whole episode. It's phenomenal.
That's insane to have like a faith crisis attached to a Christmas movie because, Christmas and faith typically, pretty good
in hand.
friends with each other.
It was really good. That's all I've been. You watch anything fun?
I've actually like not watched as many movies as I wanted to. I like noticed my movie watching kind of slow down a bit. However, did watch a pretty great movie by the name of Black Christmas from 1974.
That's part of why we watched this.
That's actually part of why we watched this one, actually. Yeah, because it had been on our list of like, ooh, what are some Christmas horror movies we could watch? This one had been one that had come up a couple times, is sitting pretty low on the ratings. And I remember hearing in a lot of different horror outlets, actually, a lot of people talk about the 1974 Black Christmas. It actually came out 4 years before Halloween in 1978, and that Halloween is considered like to be like the staple, like the start of like the slasher genre. What went on to create all of the other slashers, your Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Streets, all of like Slumber Party Massacre, the things that came after that. But not enough people are talking about the movie that came 4 years earlier, which is Black Christmas 1974, and it actually starts a couple of the tropes that like were then like reworked and then like really popularized by Halloween. And so like I was really interested to see all of that kind of stuff from like a weirdly like historical horror kind of standpoint, especially for like the slasher genre. That movie kicked ass. It was actually really good. And like I put it in my Letterboxd review, and I'll say it here right now. I actually would consider this like Black Christmas 1974 to be better than Halloween and is as a horror movie for sure.
I don't know. I feel like Halloween is one of those that like it's a lot like Friday the 13th, where you look back on it and you're like, I appreciate what this did, but it isn't the best in the franchise.
No, exactly. Like you go back and watch these things, you're like, this isn't the best thing I've ever seen, really, but it is important to the history of it. It's what started a lot of things.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm not saying Halloween is much better than Friday the 13th. Like,
Yeah, I
as
think
far
so.
as like a movie goes. So I'm really curious to see Black Christmas.
Yes,
because
it is very good.
You're
And
not the only one who says that either.
No, exactly. Like it's a huge thing. It's a widely debated topic. But yeah, Black Christmas 1974, great film. Does a lot of good stuff with it. Some great actors that are in it who do a great job at being spooked in the thing. It's a very simple premise in this. And so I was very curious going into this movie, like, what are they going to do wrong? Like, how can they mess this up? Because I really enjoyed the premise of it. I think what they start wrong immediately is like, I think the movie sits well in 1974. It sits well in that time frame because there are some things they do that you obviously could not do in present day. And it's just, things work differently, i.e. like cell phone usage. There's like, they get like in the original movie, there's like phone calls from this creep who like, is saying some nasty stuff over the phone, right? That's like a landline in their house, but now it's like their cell phones, and that changes things a lot automatically because the movie we watched, 2006, is, at least as far as I'm aware, takes place in 2006. Like it's not But anyway, yeah, so I will probably talk much on Black Christmas 1974 and how much I enjoyed it, and I'll tell you what I thought about Black Christmas 2006.
Because we watched it.
Whether or not I enjoyed it. But yeah, we watched it, and it was a time.
And we should go into that.
We should talk about it. Derek, let's discuss. Would you like...
Let's do it.
discuss. Let's get into it. So, Derek, you got any information on Black Christmas 2006?
I got some info.
You got some info.
I got some info.
Got some
Black
knowledge.
Christmas is from 2006, sitting at a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 38. Letterboxd is sitting at a 2.6. IMDb's at a 4.6. And it is not doing well.
No.
It had a budget of $9 million, dude. Like, that is... insane
it's
for a
up
movie
there.
from 2006.
And I'll be honest, like watching this movie, going into it, there were some things that I saw that would indicate that, like, yeah, okay, no, I can see where the budget for this movie was going, where those things had happened, right? Also, who was it that had produced this movie? It was like Lionsgate, right?
Yeah,
Lionsgate
exactly.
were the distributors
That's what I was
of this
about
movie.
to talk about. Yeah, Lionsgate. Apparently they were like, "Okay, we need a remake or a continuation of the original Black Christmas because it is so widely regarded. Everybody
Of course.
loved it. It's one of those movies that goes back into theaters every single year,
Which
has
is so
for a long time.
It's so funny because in its original form, it did not do that well. Like people were not super into it. It's like I feel like most classic horror movies are that way because another great movie like The Thing was another one. 1982's The Thing. They were like, oh, this movie is like, you know, it's trash, it's doggerel. Like what are we doing here with this one? And then slowly it gains in popularity, this like cult classic kind of vibe to it. And I feel like Black Christmas was a similar thing. Yeah. So yeah, now they're like, okay, this movie's a big hit. It's time to remake it. You know, it's been X amount of years at this point. Funny enough, actually, weird thing, we watched this movie on the actual 50-year anniversary of its release, which was
cool.
Completely unintentional. That just happened to happen. It was super weird.
That's super dope. So this movie was actually nominated for two things.
Oh, okay.
It was Mary Elizabeth Winstead was nominated for Scream Queen,
which you may know her for her work in being Ewan McGregor's wife, or also in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Is she really?
She really is.
Good for him.
That's not a joke.
You
Not
know,
a lie.
Hey, oh shoot, what's his name?
Ewan McGregor?
Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan, you did it.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ramona Flowers.
What a combo.
The Wombo combo.
What do you think her lightsaber color is? It's probably
that's
like,
good. Well, they'll probably
weekly.
change with her hair color, right? That's how it's... That thing writes itself.
That's comedy.
We
right
can't
there.
even take credit for that. That's just obvious.
It was nominated for the stinker of Worst Christmas Film.
I knew it was going to be... When you said there were nominations, I'm like, one of these is going to be a bad one.
Yeah. So this movie was actually directed by Glenn Morgan. And you keen listeners will recognize that name.
Glenn Morgan, that sounds familiar to me.
Because you won't recognize him for directing, though, because he swore that he was done directing after this movie. He said that. He said, this was such a bad directing experience, which I'm sure the trivia will get into. I'm never directing again. He kept that promise. Other than 3 episodes of The X-Files in 2016, he has not directed since.
That's insane.
However, he has written a lot of very famous stuff. He wrote the original Final Destination.
Okay.
He wrote Final Destination 3. He wrote Black Christmas 2006.
Yeah, that
No, I'm just kidding. He also did, well, he did do that. But Lore, I don't know if you ever saw that TV show.
No.
It was based on a podcast. It's all about like cryptids and like, crazy stories and stuff.
That's cool.
Highly recommend Lore.
Yeah.
Actually, it's super, super good. That podcast scared the shit out of me. Then The X-Files, as we were just talking about, and The Twilight Zone, the remake of The Twilight Zone. So he is well versed in horror, and it's actually
just
kind of
not directing.
Yeah, but it's sad because I feel like he could have done great things.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since, as we'll get into at some point here, the movie not doing incredibly well and taking certain interesting turns and decisions was not entirely up to him. In fact, there were some evil men in the Hollywood world that were to blame for the reason why this movie went the direction it did and why it is the way it is.
Yeah,
and probably why it has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not entirely his fault. But it is really sad to see him go for this. Like, I'm going to be a director and really just get destroyed in that field and be like, okay, I'm going to write. That's what I'm going to do.
He did do another horror remake called Willard. It's about a guy who inherits a house with like a bunch of rats in it, and the rats go crazy and like
sounds
make
very
him
familiar
kill
to
people.
me.
It sounds really cool. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
There's but he remade the one from like the 1970s, which is why they were like, you can probably do Black Christmas too.
Okay, yeah. They're like, sure, why not? You did good enough, kid. We'll give you our remakes, no problem.
And then the famous writer of The Adventures of Timothy Pilgrim is behind Black Christmas.
The what?
I don't know, man.
The what?
The Adventures of Timothy Pilgrim.
Yeah, can you give me just a quick synopsis on that?
A 1970s boy and an 1870s elixir peddler have adventures in each other's time periods.
Pilgrims.
Thanks to a magic trunk.
What?
I don't know, man. This looks
That's
like
insane.
this looks like B-roll for some serial killer documentary.
Yeah, that looks rough.
But yeah, that's basically Black Christmas in a nutshell.
And as far as I know, there was some help from Bob Clark, the original director of the first Black Christmas, right?
yeah, so he did spend some time on set, but he didn't direct or anything.
Yeah.
He just consulted.
Makes
so.
sense, yeah.
But he did die right after this.
That's right. Yeah, no, it was kind of strange. Bob Clark also, for those of you who don't know, he did direct the first Black Christmas in 1974. Weirdly, also directed A Christmas Story, which is just another great Christmas
horror
movie. So it's another Christmas horror movie if you think about it. And
My
you don't
dad
have to think that hard.
hates that movie with a passion.
Why?
So growing up, that movie was kind of like a horror movie.
And so you're just terrified of leg lamps, like they scare the shit out of you. Which is kind of funny because in this movie they do have a leg lamp in it. Which was kind of a fun homage to like a Christmas Story, and the fact that like they did have Bob Clark on set. Like we actually watched a little clip of like the director of this one being like, "Everyone, please welcome Bob Clark, wonderful man." And he was so sweet about it too. He's like,
wild.
"Everyone, it's just wonderful to be here. I'm so excited." Like he seems like a very, very sweet
he
man.
seems very genuine.
Seems like the man you would want to be like your grandpa or something like that.
Yeah.
You'd love to go over to his house and to point a gun in your eye or something like that. What happens
You'll
in the movie?
shoot your eye out.
I'll be so real with you.
Have you ever
I
seen
have
it?
never seen A Christmas Story.
Okay, let me give you a brief synopsis of A Christmas Story.
Or should I give you a brief synopsis since I don't know what happens in
Oh,
it?
that's actually fun.
What happens in it? There's some fuck ass nerd kid who's got these big old glasses. Doesn't listen to his parents very well. He can't read. Dad can't read. He says fragile on this leg lamp thing. Is that right? Kid goes to Santa, pushes him down a slide because he offends Santa by saying some really offensive things to Santa Claus.
Pretty close, actually.
Is it really? Points a gun at himself or something.
Whoa, no. That's Christmas Story 2. It takes place 40 years later.
Oh
He's
God, where he's
depressed
like really
and
depressed.
Never had sex. You don't need to see A Christmas Story. Huge
Whoa.
problematic opinion.
There are riots outside,
I
Derek.
know,
They've got
I know,
pitchforks
I know.
and fire.
I know. It's just fine. Maybe it's because I grew up with my dad hating it so much.
That's
so I
fair,
was
that's
like,
fair.
I would like sneak downstairs and watch it. Like,
And
it
even
was,
then,
like-
it doesn't have like this thrill for you.
Maybe it does. But there was something about like the kid getting his tongue stuck to the pole that
Yes.
genuinely terrified me.
I mean, yeah, that's how. Because I mean,
So, makes
that's
sense that
also like not bullshit. That
movies
thing can
eventually
really happen, right?
I don't know.
I think
Probably.
that can really, yeah. You can get your tongue stuck to a pole
I'll look at
pretty easily if you ask me. I think Science Jim could probably tell us a little bit about getting your tongue stuck to a pole, right?
What do you mean? Why do you think I could talk about this? I don't know anything.
Were you sleeping, Science Jim? Were you not
Yeah.
prepared to come record today?
No, what was the question?
Science Jim, can you tell me a little bit about if you can really get your tongue stuck to like a cold pole on a cold Christmas day?
Yeah, you actually can, because on livescience.com, article 32237, will your tongue sticks to a frozen flagpole.html.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, that
Where
one.
It says, yes, the tongue warms itself. So the tongue is constantly sending warm blood to your tongue. And then your tongue touches the pole,
'Kay.
right? The frozen metal cools the surface of your tongue, and your body distributes more heat to the cooled areas, right?
Yeah.
The metal takes in the heat. The metal is a strong thermal conductor. It pulls heat from your tongue much faster than your body can replenish it. Okay, you following?
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, lots of heat going through your tongue.
Right.
Once you touch your tongue to the pole, the pole is sucking in all of the heat. So your body can't heat up your tongue fast enough.
no.
Okay. So then the fourth step, the most horrifying step of
Yes,
them all,
the grisliest step.
moisture on your tongue then freezes. The ice latches to the pole in both the pores in both the flagpole and your tongue. You're stuck.
Lord.
But you can just pour some water on it.
Yeah, I hear the quick method is just pouring some hot water over it.
Or you could just pull it.
Or you just pull it really
a
hard and probably
long
rip your tongue off. And I'm sure that's definitely happened somewhere to someone.
Thank you, Science Jim. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Science
Do you want to
Jim.
hear about the book I'm writing?
What do you? Yeah, I mean, Derek, we don't really have any time in the episode
do you want
for
to
him
just
to
go? We're running out of time. Okay, bye.
He doesn't know we have all the time in the world. We tricked him. Do you have any more info on
6-hour episode?
Black Christmas?
Yeah, back to budget. So this movie cost $9 million, produced by Lionsgate. It grossed a total of $16.3 million. 16, not 60.
Yeah.
In North America and 21 million worldwide. The film earned 3.3 million in its opening weekend, showing in 1,200 theaters, and garnered an additional 4.9 million between December 29th and January 1st.
I'm okay on like a $9 million budget.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
It made double its budget.
It's decent, even with its bad reviews. At least it wasn't like a negative profit for them.
Definitely was extremely negative.
Yeah.
So I found out something interesting about Rotten Tomatoes. I thought you'd find this really interesting.
Yeah,
so you know how Rotten Tomatoes hasn't been around forever.
Yeah,
right? They've
of course.
probably only been around for about 20 years, 25 years or so.
Right.
They have an entire team dedicated to cataloging old movie reviews.
Really?
So yeah, like I don't remember what movie. I found out about this because some movie from like 1950 just got added to Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, this movie has this tomato critic score.
Which is kind of interesting, yeah, because like Rotten Tomatoes wasn't around in 1974 when the first Black Christmas came out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so they have a team specifically who goes through like old documents and like articles around that time in like the newspapers and stuff.
Oh.
And finds reviews for these movies.
Now that's really cool.
And uploads them to the website.
Interesting, making them kind of like historians in a sense, like documenting the
cool?
real-time reviews of. No, that's super cool. I love that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the information I had.
So,
Expectations,
Derek, you were talking to me real quick. You were talking to me about like tongues and putting them onto glass poles and stuff. How about I wet my whistle on a nice drink here?
Hello, it's me, Bilbo Bartender.
Bilbo Bartender, what will you tell me? What is in this nice concoction in my hand here? I was going to talk more about the tongue, but that just kind of grosses me out. So I just want to hear about the drink, really.
Well, it's got a tongue of things in it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Thank you. I'm a comedian.
Is that what you're doing? Please don't tell me you're going to have like a stand-up set that I have to go to.
I do. It's this weekend at Wise Guys in downtown Salt Lake City.
Of course, yeah. I'll totally be there.
But look out for Bilbo Bartender on the marquee.
Is there like, do you just do like topical, like observational comedy? Like what's your
I mostly use lotion when I'm talking topical. Is that good? Was that funny?
Okay. If you got some more of that stuff, I might consider not coming up with an excuse to not go to this comedy day.
I am very funny.
Can you tell me about what's in the drink?
Oh, it's just some liquid. Okay, that joke was stupid.
You said it had a tongue of
I'm
things.
trying. My New Year's resolution is to be funny and not putting children into the drinks.
Yeah, we've got to have less children in the drinks. Okay.
Well, this year you've got a little Black Christmas special.
Okay, so what's that?
You take a sip. Ooh, what's that? It's icicle. You
Okay.
take another sip. What's that?
It's just ice.
It's a little blood. It's iron.
It's okay.
The irony is strong with this one.
Just putting iron into the drinks. I feel sick. Am I gonna be sick?
Buff.
You can't just make a person barf on command, Bilbo Bartender.
I'm just being stupid. It's just a little ginger beer with some tequila. It's a little Sprite, a little icicle.
Okay.
But the icicle killed someone. Goodbye.
Okay, yeah. So the blood icicle, which we will talk about in a Black Christmas
Blycicle.
2006. Is it time for us to discuss our expectations?
Is it
for
like
this one?
if I went to the store to buy a blood icicle, would I have to like give him the blood type I wanted?
Yeah,
I want a type O.
So sorry,
icicle.
we're all out of O negative.
I want an O negative icicle now.
Sir,
Doctor, we need an O negative icicle stat.
Quick, grab that man. He bought the last one.
This bit's stupid.
It's terrible.
What do you need an icicle for?
What do you need a blood icicle
Did
for?
you ever grab icicles and eat them?
Absolutely, I did. Actually, I would try to find like the biggest one I could.
The hugest
Just
one. The one that would
gigantic
probably
one.
kill you. If it
Yes,
fell on
if
you.
it fell down from the
Genuinely
top.
terrifying.
Which
by the way,
could probably
It's a
happen, I believe.
Absolute thing that can happen.
Yeah, no, it's kind of
We don't even
terrifying
need to ask
if I'm being
Jim
entirely
Science.
honest. No, Jim Science definitely knows. You don't even know your own son's name.
Jim Science.
What'd you get him for Christmas?
But I got him a freaking keyboard.
Like a piano keyboard?
No, a keyboard. And next year I'm gonna buy him a mouse. And then the year after that I'm gonna buy him a monitor. And then I'm gonna buy him a case for a computer.
But
And
That's
then
pretty
I'm going to
good.
buy him like a graphics card.
Okay, so
and a
slowly
RAM,
slowly he's
in
going
about
to get a computer.
30 years, he'll have a computer.
But then I think we should do on the other end is every Christmas, once he has X amount of things, then like you go back and take one thing away. Like the keyboard goes away, but he gets another piece of the computer. So then he has a fully built computer, but like no monitor, no keyboard, no mouse.
Yeah.
He just sits there and listens to it whir and make noises. And then the cycle starts over again. He gets the mouse back. He's like, I can start doing some things with it. Or I can start doing some things with it.
Oh, that was fun.
And then
then
that's Count
I don't know.
Trivia. Count Trivia, I actually got him some blood icicles. Which
Did
I
you?
Thought, I thought that'd be really good.
Hey, Blood Icicle is a great gift for a vampire.
Blood Icicles also a pretty good band name, I think.
Oh my
Like,
God.
think about it. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out to
we're
our set.
Blood
We are
Icicles.
Blood Icicles. 1, 2, 3,
We're
4.
gonna play our hit off our first album, Typo.
Typo.
And like everything's spelt wrong on that album.
Yeah, exactly.
because it's Typo.
Look out, we're coming for you.
Coming for you, we're coming for you.
Falling from floor up to
Coming for you,
floor
up
2.
to.
I don't know why I said floor up to.
I don't know. It's a pretty good punk band, though.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
think
should consider that.
We should consider that.
We
Nobody
could
take that
dress
idea.
like vampires.
That's pretty good.
pretty good,
That's
right?
pretty good. But like some
Really
like
cringy,
some
though.
like snow themed vampires.
Emily will finally let me put vampire lyrics into my music. She's got this thing where she will not let me have the word vampires in my lyrics,
kinda
which makes sense. It's kind of cringy.
You're just throwing them in there willy nilly, like
it makes sense.
Yeah, you know,
usually.
people typically. Goodness, words are hard. Words are so hard.
Yeah.
People typically, like when they're trying to conquer like writer's block and stuff like that, just kind of word vomit and then kind of fix things later. Derek is really good at doing that with lyrics to songs.
That's true.
And often they involve vampires.
Often. Not often.
No,
like
just
once every
more
10
than
songs.
once. More than once.
3
I've
times
seen.
every 10 songs. Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
We're about to start. I swear to God.
I swear we
But
will talk to you about this movie. You were in for a treat. I think. I don't know.
me and Isaac were involved with a little music video. I had Isaac record for me.
Yeah, well, like to backtrack a little bit, because how much did we talk about your
haven't
Santa
talked about
Christmas
it at
song?
all.
No, it's a great thing. Derek was part of a wonderful thing with a wonderful band.
Yeah, they're a
band called Appalachian Anarchy. You may have actually heard of them. They're actually like fairly well known.
Yeah,
they have
they're
a pretty
well-known.
good following and stuff. Derek has gotten to do some work with them.
Yeah, they're well known for the wrong reason. They're well known because people thought they were AI generated, but then
Right.
they weren't.
Right.
And so that's why I started working with them, because they aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Which was a concern. I remember
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
to me about like having conversations about that.
Oh,
kind of stuff.
absolutely. Anyway, so I have been working with my producer, who is also the runner of said Appalachian Anarchy.
Yep.
We ended up recording a song called I Saw Zombie Killing Santa Claus.
And mind you, all of their music up until this point has been instrumental. There has
Yes.
not really been a vocalist
Yeah,
to them.
this is
And
the
then comes
first-
in Derek Wayman.
we have a guy who sings
He sings sometimes. So yeah, he sang a really kick-ass song about, we all know the song I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus,
Yeah,
Now
but-
take that, put a zombie in it. He's killing Santa Claus.
And then I was like, Patrick, my producer, was like, dude, we got to make a music video for this.
Absolutely.
I know someone who could do makeup. I know someone who could record. Like, you send me a Santa Claus costume, I will do it right now. And
Yeah.
so we ended up in one night from like 9 p.m.
It was
to
a wild
1 a.m.
night.
It was like 7 p.m. to 1 a.m.
yeah, because you have to account for the time that took Derek to get into the makeup.
Yeah, we made this crazy video. We were walking down the street, like the canal behind my house.
And Derek
screaming.
really took on the character of a zombie Santa Claus. It
Oh,
was
I
really
did.
fun to watch, actually. But yeah, my sister, her name is Alexis. I call her Lexi. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
Did the makeup effects for Derek and him.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, you need to check out this video because like he looks awesome.
Yeah.
The performance is great. The song is great. The makeup in it is great. Like it's just it's gonna be your new
cinematography's
Christmas
pretty
favorite.
great, too,
The
I think.
cinematography pretty fun. Yeah, Derek is like, Isaac, you're gonna record this. I'm like, okay.
Okay, here we go. And you did a great job.
I did. Yeah, I did all right.
10 out of 10 would recommend Isaac
I've
to
never-
record your zombie music videos.
Yeah, I've never really had to like record a zombie music video, so that was the first thing for me. But like, honestly, would do it again. It was a very, very fun time.
It was dope. So go check it out. It's I Saw Zombie Killing Santa Claus on YouTube. Also, just look up Appalachian Anarchy. You'll find it that way.
Yeah, so you can watch it on YouTube. I would please implore, go check out the video. Also, for my sake, just because it's a fun thing, go comment hell yeah under
Oh,
that
yes.
video.
Please. No,
We're
yeah,
trying to
go-
start a train, just like hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, we have this bit that we do with every time there's like a fun song.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
Encourage people to comment on.
Try
Let's
to
comment.
start
Hell
that
yeah.
train. So yeah, go check it out on YouTube. And also, if you're in the car, you can't watch something. You can also find it wherever you
Yeah,
find music
just-
and stuff,
it's
right?
on
It's on
all-
Spotify
yeah, it's on
and stuff
Spotify
like
and
that. So yeah, look up Appalachian Anarchy. I saw Zombie killing Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But yeah, so great Christmas time. And what else was a great Christmas time?
Black Christmas,
Black Christmas 2006.
All
Well,
right.
not according
That's
to the
everything we
critics.
need to
Should we talk about what the critics thought about this
Yeah,
movie?
let's talk about it.
Yeah, the critics, not so nice about it, really. Starting out here
Guess
with
you could say they were naughty.
they're on the naughty list. You're so right. How many we haven't gone hard enough on like the Christmas-esque puns that we could be doing in these episodes.
You're right.
But starting out with Carson Timar on Buttered Popcorn with a rotten review.
You just said a bunch of fake words.
No, it's all fake words, right? Rotten Review says, in its attempt to build a franchise and legacy, Black Christmas stabs itself in the eye. Blind from any sort of craft or talent, every piece of the film falls in an overly exploitative and off-putting experience that is impossible to justify watching.
Nice.
Original score, D-.
I'm gonna do Stacks from IGN Movies, and since you did it in the voice of that guy, I'm gonna do the voice of Stacks.
Yeah, do Stacks.
Black Christmas works best as a campy deconstruction of the genre more than it does as a horror film. 2.5 out of 5.
That's pretty good.
If my name was Stacks.
Now I got Trace Thurman, Horror Queers Podcast. Oh, other podcasters are up on here. Derek, we got to be doing this.
I mean, next year, dog.
We're coming up. We're gonna do it. Catch us on Rotten Tomatoes 2025. We're gonna be doing it.
That's actually not as much of a joke as you think.
No, for real. We can
Yeah,
actually be
we
doing this.
actually
And I'm
could
kind of
be.
excited about it. With a fresh review, actually says the editing is horrendous. The tone is all over the place. The gore is over the top. It's a trashy mess, and yet it's still dumb fun.
Aw.
Yeah, so
You didn't
yeah,
do a fun voice
there was
for that one.
there was a
but-
while there because Trace Thurman, Horror Queers Podcast, just a normal guy, just like everybody else,
You're right.
just like you and me. But I was curious where that was going to turn around because up until the end there, I was like, this guy's just trashing on this
Yeah,
movie.
for sure. Edward Douglas of ComingSoon.net says, "Who needs Scrooge or the Grinch to ruin your holiday cheer when you have tired horror rehashes like this one?" 5 out of 10.
5 out of so yeah, it is seemingly clear that people were not into this. A lot of talk about eyeballs, huh, Derek?
I do remember that.
I don't know what you mean. We ready for an eye-opening Christmas experience with Black Christmas 2006?
I keep almost saying uterus, but the word I'm looking for is
Definitely not that word.
the one that your eyes is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's like the uterus of your eye.
Octagon. The uterus of your eye. The uterus is the eye of the beholder.
It's a person who really does not understand like phrases and stuff like that. It's like he's like, tell her you are the apple of my eye. You are the uterus of my eye.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Can
What
we
is
talk
it
ab-
called?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
What's the thing?
Iris.
No. Well, that's just a beautiful song by
Sclera.
my Google
I don't know. What's the word you're trying to say?
Octagon. Ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist. Optimist.
Optometry.
Optometry is
It's
a
close.
word. Yeah, but like there's a
Optimus Prime.
Yep. No. Not Oracle. What is the thing that your eye is?
All seeing.
No.
Watching you
Pupil?
struggle and squirm. Pupil is a word for eyes.
There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, keep going.
Omniscient.
No, we're done.
omnipotent.
Now this bit's over.
Sometime in the middle of this episode, you're going to be like, it's this! This is the I word.
All right.
Expectations. For me, immediately going into this one, I was like, okay, obviously I know it is not that incredible, so I'm already going to be judging it pretty harshly. I knew that I was going to come at this one pretty harsher than I would have because I watched Black Christmas 1974. And like when I first watched it, it didn't grab me incredibly, but something about the watching it and like letting it sit over time like really grew on me. So I came to love Black Christmas 1974. So I'm like, okay, Black Christmas 2006 might not really love me. I might not really
the
love it.
cornea.
It's the cornea? Is that the word? Yeah. Wasn't even oculus, nothing.
No. Cornea.
So why did
I
that
don't know.
word come
Shut
up?
up. Don't worry about it. Just move on.
That was kind of a corny joke, huh, Derek? It's
fucking
me,
Puny.
Puny the
We
Punter.
really have to move on. We do
I
not have
see
time for
what,
you.
See what
I
did,
my
Abby?
general My general expectation is that I'll have a decent time.
That's it.
It's just gonna be decent.
Yeah.
Not amazing, not terrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I shoved my hand in
that's
Puny
fine.
Putter's
Puny the punter does not need to hang around
No.
all the time. But no, like I remember telling Derek I was actually kind of excited to watch this one, even though I
Yeah.
was nervous because I love the original Black Christmas 1974. I was like, I sometimes come into movies.
Oculus!
That's what I told you. You said cornea.
Emily texted me Oculus.
Lord.
I was totally looking for Oculus.
Oh my
Not
God.
cornea.
Yeah, I was what.
Did you say Oculus?
I
then?
did
Play
because
the
I
back.
also
Play
saw
it
the
back.
same text
Play
from
it
Emily.
back.
No,
Play
it's
it
the
back.
same thing.
Playback.
I said it because she had said it.
Play it
Emily,
back.
credit to Emily. She's the one who figured this out. Derek's lovely lady wife. But I was actually kind of excited to watch this one. So after watching the trailer, my expectations were as follows. They're really changing things from the original. It looked like they were just from within the trailer taking a wild swing away from what made the original the good one. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
What
dude.
about you?
I was thinking this was going to be full of camp. Like,
Oh yeah,
nonstop
camp to the max.
Part of that comes from the girl who plays oh crap, I can't remember her name.
There are too many of them.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yes.
As you know her from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where
Yup.
she plays Dawn Summers, the main character's little sister.
Of course,
she's
everybody knows.
Terrible in that in that show.
Mhm.
Sorry, Michelle, you just were.
Sorry, Michelle.
Is it Michelle?
Mitchell. No, I'm just saying it
Mitchell?
weird.
Well, I mean, her last name is
I guess that's very right.
Trachtenberg. Anyway, that show is campy, right? So
Yes.
I saw her in the trailer. I was like, oh, camp.
We're
Oh,
in for some camp.
camp.
Oh, got the
Camp.
camp. Oop, camp. It's camp time. We're going to camp, and we got
Oh, you're
some
gonna
camp up in the camp now. I can't think of it. Camp raps.
Camp rap.
Listen, I already did a Black Christmas song at the beginning. You can come
you
up with a camp rap.
Okay.
Camp rap.
No.
Camp rap. You don't want to do that one?
No, it's stupid. You go. We don't have time.
I was thinking that it was going to be cleaner in a certain sense because there were some parts of the original movie that kind of toe the line. I mean, it was 1970, so like there were some things they said and did in movies that like they would not really get away with now. So I was thinking it might be cleaner in that sense of like content within it, but it was going to be a lot gorier because that is something that is actually can be appreciated about the original Black Christmas. Is like there's actually not that much like actual blood and like practical gore that you see on screen,
Yeah.
but it's still effective. It doesn't really need that.
is still
And this one, because it has so much, probably will need that.
Yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is gratuitous violence. So
Yeah.
basically the exact same music.
Similar
you
thing,
just
similar
said.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to go in that, I said much more intricate kills.
Oh, yeah.
There was this one thing in the trailer where it looked like some kind of like wood chipper saw thing pulling in a character that had like Christmas lights wrapped around it. And I was like, what the hell is that about?
That looked wild.
That
There was a
looks-
girl trapped under the ice.
Yeah, she was like trapped
There's a
under
guy
a lake.
flying in the
yeah.
ceiling.
There's someone crawling on the ceiling. So instantly I'm like, what the fuck are they doing to this movie?
Nobody knows.
Because it has a very simple premise in the original one, and I'll get into it as it continues along. But yeah, so much more intricate kills is what I was thinking.
For sure. Over sexualized frat girls for
Oh,
just no
yeah,
reason
yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
I mean, I saw who was involved in the movie and I was like, okay, so there's going to be unnecessary nudity everywhere.
Yeah, we're familiar with your work and what you're doing, and so that's probably going to happen. To talk about the girls, I said annoying main characters, except maybe the final girl. But there was something about even within the trailer, the way these characters spoke to each other, the way the dialogue was written, the way they interacted with each other, was not super into it.
No, me
which
neither.
is sad because in the original one, I actually really liked all of the characters. First of all, there were less of them. I think this one just wanted to have more fodder for a killer, if I'm being entirely honest.
I mean, when did Saw come out, right?
That's true. Yeah. What,
They-
like 2003?
2004.
Four,
So like
I was
it,
so close.
it makes sense for these kind of movies to be like, people want gore.
Yes, we need to push it, right? And I think that's also like, I blame something like Friday the 13th because it starts off simple. The further they go, it's just about like,
It's
we
just
just want to see this
nonsense.
crazy hockey mask character kill people.
All of them are like that.
Right, exactly.
Right?
But like they
It's-
just continue to build upon themselves, right? And so as time
Absolutely.
progresses, we need more kills and we need more people to kill.
I want more kills.
Anyway, I thought all of these characters are going to be quite annoying and not incredibly likable, which is sad because I really liked all of the ones in the first one.
It's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Over-explained villain. I just felt like we were going to get way too much information about the villain.
Which
I was
is
just going to
so-
explode.
So sad because you don't know anything about the killer in the original one. That is one of the things I love so much about it. Anything you would know about the killer, you kind of have to piece together yourself.
Well, not in this one.
Not in this one.
Silver platter.
I literally, yeah, more than a silver platter. They bring you like breakfast in bed. They're wheeling it all to you. Open up the tray, like here it is. It's murder.
There's just a guy jaundiced.
It's jaundiced guy, which we will get into.
Jaundiced Jerry.
Jaundiced Jerry. And then my final one was similar to what you were saying. Definitely some nudity. I mean, it was the 2000s, right? So probably going to get a couple of like gratuitous nudity scenes in it.
My final one was no continuity. I just expected this movie to just not have any good pacing.
Yeah.
You know, like there would just be continuity errors everywhere.
All over the place. But yeah, Derek, do you hear that? Do you hear those sleigh bells ringling, ting, ting, tingling too? Is that? Hold on, Derek. I'm listening. I'm getting a little something. Is that you picking that up? There's a little bit of a. It's like a telegram. It's telling us something. What's this? It's on the ticker tape machine.
You guys are taking way too long. You need to start talking about the movie.
It's our producer. Now. Our producer's telling us we got to start on the movie right now.
I said you need to start on the movie right now.
We already got the ticker tape machine. You don't have to come in high horse and tell us about the movie.
I am your producer as of last episode. So
it is me. They made me a account producer now, and
you're the accountant.
Accountant producer. I account for the producers. Is that what happens?
Yeah, come here. Let's go in the back.
and do what? What is happening?
Eat some bloodsickles.
Oh, bloodsickles. Yes, I love bloodsickles. I'm hoping I got some for Christmas.
And then they walk off like hand in hand, hand in hoof.
Hand in hoof. How does that? Does High Horse have to like limp with one hoof in the front as he's holding the other one? I like to think Count Trivia uses his like flying to lift him up in the air, and it's like a flying horse, and it's beautiful.
Are they kissing?
Like an angel. They don't need to be kissing. Whatever. Let's talk about Black Christmas, 2006. So starting out the movie, it opens on this sorority house with some fun Christmas music. This girl named Claire is alone in her room. She's like writing a note to her sister. I think it's like for her Christmas present or something like that. She hears some noises that start to put her off. And so she goes and looks in her closet because she thinks someone's hiding in there, which is a direct homage to the original movie because Claire, who's the first girl that gets murdered in that movie, gets killed in her room, and she gets suffocated by a plastic bag over her face by someone in her closet, right?
Okay, moving forward.
Yes.
I guess we should not spoil the first one as much as you can.
Yes.
Because I still want to watch it as
that's true.
Spoilery
That's
as
tough.
You can.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to tread carefully.
Yeah,
with
tread
this.
carefully. Don't give too many spoilers.
Yeah. But so the thing that is pretty much 1-to-1 in them though is this first kill of a woman named Claire. Right. Funny enough, she's actually the only girl in the movie who has the same name as anybody else.
Yeah.
I read a trivia thing. I didn't include it. All the other girls are named after, or at least like their last names are named after other Christmas song singers or writers. Like there's a girl whose last name is like Presley, like Elvis Presley, because he sang. You know, I'll have
Christmas
a blue
singer,
Christmas, you know. But anyway, so in the original movie, she gets killed by someone in the closet, right? In this one, they go in the closet. They're like, nah, not in the closet. We tricked you. You thought it was because you saw the original, you sick son of a bitch. Instead, someone is hiding under the bed. And this mystery person then takes, again, a plastic bag over this girl's face. Oof. And then, worse than just suffocating her with it, stabs into her with like this red pen that she had in the room.
Gross.
Just stabbing into her specifically in the eyeball.
Yeah, dude.
And that is
the beginning.
Is just the beginning of how much eye gore. If you've got a thing you're squeamish about eyeballs, be careful.
Yeah, maybe just cut out.
Yeah, maybe just run actually, because there's an unnecessary amount of eye gore in this movie.
Yeah, seriously,
and not
like the cute eye gore.
Not like a Frankenstein's eye gore. You know what I mean, or Igor eye gore, whatever you want to say. Anyway, cue title. Now we're in Black Christmas 2006. Now we see the Clark Sanitarium, which is like this insane asylum for these crazy serial killers and stuff. Right? We see a worker who's giving the inmates some milk. For some reason, just thought they'd be giving people milk because it's Christmas, I guess. Again, further perpetuating the fact that serial killers drink milk. It's a real thing.
Why you need to watch Milk and Cereal? That movie I told you.
That's true. You did tell me about that one.
Just saying.
So a random man dressed as Santa Claus somehow made his way in. Even the worker is like, "How'd you get in here?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I was looking we're looking for the kids' ward or something like that." It was so random. But then he sees this door of this one inmate. It's got his name on the front of it. He goes, "Hey, isn't that man that's infamous for killing his whole family on Christmas Day?" And they're like, "Yeah, no. As a child, he was locked in the attic by his mother. So we'd like to try to make the place as much like home as he likes it. He tries to escape every year on Christmas." Bum, bum, bum.
It's pretty intense.
So immediately, we're already getting a ton of information about this killer. And all I will tell you about the original movie, there is not any conversation about who this killer is, where they came from, their motives. You don't get any of that. Instead, this movie has so much of it. So much of it. And
they shove it down
didn't really like it. I really didn't enjoy it very much. So at the sanitarium, this infamous killer leaves a package for the guard, just like on his little slot where they bring him food or mail or whatever. Yeah. And so he leaves in this little package, and then we see him on the inside. He's sharpening a candy cane to a sharp point, like this little shank. It's like, clever. Okay. I'm like, all right, if we get some Christmassy themed kills, I might be into this. We might be onto something pretty well, right?
Yeah.
So the man opens the package, and the wrapping on it simply says, "I'll be home for Christmas." And then it goes into his cell. He's carved a hole in the wall. He's like, "Ah, shit." So the of course it's a decoy, right? So the guard walks in there, is looking into this hole. Then from behind him, we see Yellow Billy is his name.
Oh, he's so yellow.
Climb out from under the bed and stab the guard in the neck with his candy cane shank, and he's a free man.
Yep.
And there never really is a reason that this man is incredibly jaundiced and yellow. They don't even really discuss it that much. I think it's just to lend itself to the fact that eventually we'll talk more about the fact that his mom hates him.
No, yeah.
That's like all I can really... why was he yellow? Why was he yellow?
I don't know.
Derek, tell me why was he yellow? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, actually, I think this is a really good idea. Instead of bouncing back and forth between the present day and the past,
yes, which they did.
I can summarize Billy's... I have it all right here.
You want to tell us a bit about the story? Yeah,
I'll just summarize.
So we'll go back and forth, like within the movie. It does present day, like Derek said, and then going back to telling us the entire backstory of Billy and how he came to be and why he's a killer. Blah blah blah.
I don't think that's necessary, though.
No.
Can I just give the synopsis?
Just give it all. Just tell us the whole story, and we'll be done with it.
Yes, that way we don't have to talk about it, because
it
really
broke
broke
the
again. Continuity of the movie.
It really fucks with it. Like, it's bad.
All right, so Billy Lenz is the character's name. Funny and not funny enough. He was actually based on a couple real life serial killers. Like Ed Kemper was one, the co-ed killer. Oh, okay. He was also based on William Herons. Just horrible people, but
yes, awful.
That's the point. He was born in 1970 with severe jaundice due to liver disease.
Oh.
And I did not know if that was based on liver disease from his mother or liver disease that he had because his mother was an alcoholic.
Fair.
Because that does happen, right? If the mom has if the mom has alcoholism, it will be passed to the child.
Right.
So my understanding, and this is me grasping for straws,
of course,
is that the mom had alcoholism, and the father, they both had alcoholism.
It's true.
Gave birth to Billy, who had liver disease based on that, so he has severe jaundice.
Okay,
He is completely yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like comically yellow in the movie too.
They dipped him in yellow paint
every day. Just held him by the ankles and just dip him into some yellow paint. Come here, Billy. Time for your yellow paint.
And if you look, his Achilles heel is the only thing not yellow.
Yeah,
it's his weak spot.
Keen eye watchers will be looking, and then they get stabbed in the eye because that happens a lot. Anyway.
Oh my God. All right. He is constantly abused by his mother. She hates him. His mom's name is Constance.
Yeah, which we assume is because he's yellow. I don't know, because eventually she has another kid. Doesn't hate that one.
I assumed it was because he was yellow. It kind of felt like an Elphaba situation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's a demon. He's yellow. He's disgusting. Also, another reason that I assumed was she hated the father a lot.
It's true.
And he was the son of that father.
And he's a reminder of this father that he hates because his dad was kind of sweet to him.
Yeah. So when he's 5 years old, his mom and her lover break into the house and kill Billy's dad.
In a pretty brutal fashion.
Yeah,
with a hammer, Billy sees the whole thing.
And it's another bag over the head situation.
Which is probably where he picked it up, right?
Yep, exactly. They bury the dad on Christmas Eve underneath the house. Billy watches the entire thing, so they lock him in the attic.
Yep.
Then, this is awful. The
God,
mom
this part's
is
so
struggling.
bad.
Is
so bad.
This did not need to be
no
the plot.
This did not need to happen even a little bit.
No. So the mom is struggling to become pregnant from her husband, who she murdered her other husband with. So instead of just being a normal human and not doing anything about it, she goes and forces her son to have sex with her and bears his child.
Yeah.
So now she is with child of her son's daughter.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack, and I really, really hated it. But meet Agnes. Now she has a new baby that she loves.
Yep. So she is now giving birth to Agnes on Christmas Day of 1991. Okay. Billy escapes from the Agnes. From the attic. From the attic. So he's locked in the basement for 6 years.
In the attic.
Did I say Agnes again?
You said basement.
Oh my God. Billy is locked in the attic for 6 years
Yep.
while his, or 8 years, sorry, while his daughter's
Sister, yeah.
is growing up happily downstairs. He escapes. He disfigures her, gouges out her eye. Then he brutally
Singular.
murders, just one eye, her right eye. And then he brutally murders his mom and her lover. He then uses cookie cutters to cut out her skin.
This was a
and-
super weird, unnecessary
and
bit.
eat them.
Yeah.
And
And I'll tell
that-
you, the effects are pretty decent on him taking these sharp cookie cutters, cutting out flesh from her back, and then eating the cookie of
Yeah,
it.
he baked him in the oven.
It looks like jerky. It's nasty.
It just was pointless.
Yeah, it was super pointless.
The effects of it were decent. It was just not super necessary. Anyway, he is caught and sent to a mental institution, and Agnes is taken to a local orphanage. And then
Because she did survive,
Yes, she did survive.
but
and
she's
then
missing an eye.
15 years later is where we are today with Billy escaping.
Yes. So that brings us up to speed. We don't have to do the whole back and forth bit about
Yes.
the whole Billy story. So anytime we reach that point, we'll just say this happens. We'll continue from there. Back at the sorority house, someone hears some creaking sounds from upstairs in the attic, and then up there we see the dead body of Claire waiting in a rocking chair, just sitting there, plastic bag still covering her face, which is exactly what happens in the original movie. But then up in the attic, someone lurks in the dark. So this one girl finds the dead Claire, then is quickly disposed of with a plastic bag as well. The same deal, except this time, yeah, she stabbed several times and her eye is stabbed out with the killer's thumb, then pulled out like that. It was really, really crazy.
It was crazy and also not realistic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the eye gore was like kind of.
It was so fake.
It was a little far fetched. I mean, it was kind of fun, but also still.
Yeah.
What's up with the eyes? What are we doing here, right? But then back at the asylum, we see that Billy killed that one Santa impersonator dude who was there. So disguises himself as the Santa Claus and is able to walk out a free man, right? So that I guess that's the only reason why Santa was there in the first place. But
guess.
yeah, it just really doesn't make any sense. But that immediately begs the question, okay, hold on. He just escaped the asylum. This
Who's
girl just got
causing the
killed.
murder?
If you're at the asylum and I'm at the
Who's
house,
driving the car?
who's doing all the murders? Blah, 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 right?
Oh,
so
I think I know.
so the sorority house has like this history about Billy. So apparently the house that all of the events that Derek just told you about that take place is the house that is now a sorority, right? So they've got this weird tradition where it's like, oh, every year we get a present for Billy, the boy who was here and this whole tragedy happened, blah, 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 which is kind of weird because he is historically known as a killer murderer.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is a fun tradition. We get this murderer a Christmas present every year.
Yeah, it's so
That's striking me as weird
Aw.
right now, actually.
No, it was super weird.
But anyway, yeah. So this is a bit where they get into a little bit of the backstory where they lock him up in the attic. The phone starts to ring, and they hear frantic breathing on the other end. The voice on the phone does several impressions. It does a mother, a father asking, "What have you done? What did you do to Agnes?" Blah blah blah.
And this person should quit everything and become a voice actor because they sounded identical to the
Yes,
people.
but it's supposed to be one person doing this.
But it wasn't. It
No.
was literally recordings of
Yes.
the parents.
Which is kind of funny. But then the caller ID claims that Claire's phone is the one that called it. They're like, well, that's really weird. Claire doesn't sound like that. That's super weird.
Claire doesn't sound like a mom and a dad.
And a baby and an
baby
angry man
and
and scary breathing. That's not the Claire I know. Goodness no.
the call must be coming from inside the house. Is her name Claire because she dies in a chair?
Claire died in a chair. It's Claire who died in a chair,
chair.
on Christmas night.
Oh, yes.
This could be a Christmas story. So, children, if you don't want to be like Claire who died in a chair,
Don't sit in a chair ever.
make sure that you are always fair to your neighbors, your loved ones, and
Especially
all there
Blair.
is, especially the mayor. This book was brought to you by the mayor.
The mayor.
The mayor of America. But so the caller ID, the caller ID claims that it came from Claire's phone, which is super weird. There's a fun bit here that I have to mention because not only is it an homage, a callback to the original movie, it does become pretty used a lot. Heather, who I want to say is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, she gets a Secret Santa gift. They're all exchanging gifts. She gets a glass unicorn like paperweight thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's small little thing. It is a glass unicorn, which there's a a pretty fun scene in the original movie where a kill takes place with that thing. Just once. Just once. And let's just take a take a shot every time you hear us talk about a glass unicorn in this movie.
All the time.
All the time. It becomes a lot, almost as much as the eyeballs, really. We get another flashback of Billy going on, yada yada yada. So more time has passed. The phone rings again. It's more imitations of babies crying and vague threats in a spooky voice. This time the caller ID says Megan, which I assume is the other girl that died. So like whoever this killer is taking their phones and then calling them with them that way. Like it's a super weird thing. I don't even know how necessary this is. One of the girl's boyfriends has snuck into the house now, and he looks a little suspicious because he was breaking in through Claire or Megan's room. I can't remember. Breaks in through his room, can't find Megan. What's happening here? It's like they're trying to give us a red herring, but like it's not working.
Oh, I didn't suspect him for a second.
No, exactly, because like we know Billy exists. We know that Agnes could probably be in the house right now just because we know there are two killers at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, really stupid.
There was no suspension of disbelief.
Absolutely not. And then in the midst of all of this, Claire's sister shows up and she's angry. Where's Claire? They make Claire's sister look like she is a very, very important part of this story.
Yeah.
Like, do you agree with me? Where like she comes into the story and it's like the world stops for this character for no goddamn reason.
Even when the movie is resolving and you still have this character here, I was asking why.
Yeah.
She was so pointless.
Who the hell is she? She's not one of the sisters of the sorority house.
No.
She just is the
Just a
sister
lady.
of one of the girls, right? She's just some girl, and she's just mad about it, which is kind of similar to the original one, because in the original one, it's Claire's dad that comes in and is looking for her. And honestly, that has more weight to me than her angry sister who's just like, well, I'm not leaving until I see the body. We don't know that she's dead yet, so I got to make sure. I'm Claire's sister. I literally don't even remember her name.
I don't either.
There are too many girls in this movie. There are too many
honestly,
people.
dude, I'm looking at the cast list. I cannot.
No, I
figure out
literally
which
could
one
not
is her
parse a
sister.
lot of the names. I only started to keep track of the names when there were less of the people in the movie.
Well, yeah.
So while they're all talking about like Claire's sister just got here, where's my sister, blah, blah, somebody picks up a present and it says it's from Billy. So somehow in the midst of all of this craziness, Billy has gotten into the house, left them a present that wasn't there before. They open the present. It's Agnes's baby doll from when, like, you saw a shot of it when she was in the orphanage and stuff like that. So they're both here, right? So it's like, okay, there are two killers. Now the entire suspension of disbelief in the first like 20, 30 minutes of the movie gone. It's like we know what's happening now.
I went down a rabbit hole here of my own mind.
Yeah.
In which I was so convinced that one of the girls was the sister. Agnes. I was convinced. I threatened to leave the podcast if it wasn't
He
true.
did. He straight up said, if this
screaming.
girl is not Agnes, I quit the podcast.
So I guess I tender my resignation as co-host of the podcast.
Can we finish the episode, please?
Can we change the plot so
Yeah.
I can stay?
Yeah, we'll do it. Oh, look at this. Derek says one of the sisters was Agnes.
Oh,
That's
my
crazy.
God.
No, so now it's okay. So we know Agnes is here. The power goes out in the house. Somehow the house has lost power. The other houses in the neighborhood weirdly still have power, just not this one. There's even a moment where someone goes and looks out the window. They're like, "Oh, well, all the other houses seem to have
they're
power. Isn't
fine."
that weird?" Like, yeah, again, it's crazy. One of the girls has had too much to drink. She begins vomiting. So her friend makes her like take a shower. You're smelly. Like, let's get you to bed and stuff. From under the tiles in the floor, we see someone is watching her. There's a little floor under the tile where this little peeping Tom is looking up through here. And it's like actually the only bit of like quote unquote gratuitous nudity that is in it. You see a back shot of the woman in the shower. It's actually really not that terrible. I was expecting way worse from this movie.
Oh, yeah, me
especially just the general vibe that the movie was giving me. 2006.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting more, but this is really pretty much it.
Oh, it was great.
But so one of the girls is like, oh, I know the power box to the house is outside of the house. So she's going outside. We see there's another peeping hole directly underneath the porch. This guy's got a peephole for everything. His holes are taken in places.
He's all about those people.
He's a man of the people.
He's a people guy. He's a people pleaser.
Now listen, we voted you for mayor, Billy. We said you said you were a man of the people. No, you misunderstand. I'm a man of the people.
Like the people.
Yes, the man of the people, right? Sorry, slower for me.
People.
Is this one word, two words?
People.
Or is it a completely different thing? It's a pole that you pee on. It's your pee pole.
It's my people.
Did you know It freezes.
Did you know that it freezes? Did you know that when you pee on a pole, it freezes and goes back inside you?
And then you freeze and
you
die.
Which is exactly what happens with your tongue. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, this is bad.
And it's bad. So one of the girls goes to investigate. I think she's trying to go find the power box for this thing, right? She sees a panel that leads underneath the porch, and then she quickly gets pulled underneath the porch and gets murdered with this gardening tool. And then the not yellow killer scurries away underneath the house.
No, hold on. I thought there was only one killer.
That's what I thought too. And he's yellow and he's jaundiced, but I guess that ain't the case because I plumb saw that killer. I plumb saw it, and he weren't yellow. Not yeller as in my belly.
Not yeller at all.
Not yellow as a yellow belly.
Me yeller, I'd start a killing spree right now.
Now, if you call me old, I'd be yelling. I'd be old yeller.
Oh my God, let's go up back.
And do what? What?
Old yeller gets killed.
Oh, so you want to kill me? Wait, what? I say I'm old yeller. You're like, yes, let's kill you. Let's kill you, you dog man.
That's just like the plot of Old Yellers. It's like
It's just so funny that
I want to cry now.
The immediate thing you said is let's kill you.
All right, let's go.
Jump immediately to murder. Anyway, so Dana was the one that went under the porch and was killed. Now she's dead. Now, guess what? Dana's cell phone is calling them. So we essentially fall into a pattern where a person dies, then the killer uses their phone to call somebody else and be, oh, it's me. I'm scary. Ow. What are you doing? Call Agnes. Blah blah. And there's just a lot of voice work. I think they should try to be an actor, or at least get in radio.
I think he needs to try. I mean, he does not have a face for television.
Super does not have a face for television.
My guy's got to be a radio.
He's got the voice for radio, right? But anyway, on the phone, you hear her. She's screaming for help, and then you hear Billy doing his random taunting again. So the girls go looking for her. They find bloody signs of a struggle underneath the house. Then there was this other girl named Eve, which we didn't really talk about much. They find Eve's car and open it, and because they see her sitting inside the car, right? They scrape off some of the snow on it.
Yeah.
As they open the door, her decapitated head falls and tumbles out of the door onto the ground.
Which is a huge reference to Ed Kemper.
Is it really?
Yeah, because he would behead people.
I didn't know that.
He was also locked in the basement by his mom.
Oh, see, so they're flipping the script. Now the house is upside down. The basement's the attic,
Yeah. And he killed his mom, actually.
Oh, okay. So there are actually a lot of connections to this Kemper guy. Yeah,
he was ripped off from real
completely
life,
makes sense. Yeah. So the girls have had
he
enough
also
of this.
Killed sorority girls.
Oh
that
my!
was like the thing he did.
So quite deliberate.
Yeah.
Huh? So the girls have had enough of this. They're trying everything they can to either get help out here or to leave this hell house, right? Which is really funny because there's a lot of talk about how we can't get any help out here because of this freak snowstorm that's going on. Oh my God, they're just outside and it's lightly snowing.
It's obviously asbestos falling from the sky.
Yes, Derek was really. Tell us about the asbestos snow in this movie.
Dude,
you were really mad about it.
Well, when did they stop using asbestos?
2006, right after they filmed Black Christmas.
Using asbestos as snow. Because they did that, right?
No, for real. I know that's a real thing.
When did they stop? They stopped in 19... Yeah, okay. It was a long time ago.
After they made The Wizard of Oz.
The snow looked bad.
Yeah, Derek didn't like the snow.
Flaked asbestos, and they spend a lot of time in the walls of this house.
Yes,
which is full of asbestos.
That's true. So they just took the asbestos out of the house, put it on outside.
Asbestos is the bestest.
That's what they said for the artist behind the snow in the movie. He said, asbestos is the bestest.
I'm not feeling so good, director.
Asbestos is the bestest.
I need to
and he turns smiling straight at the camera. Asbestos is the bestest.
And then everyone on set turns. Asbestos is the bestest. That's terrifying.
No, it's terrifying. But so basically the point is they cannot get any help out here because the snowstorm is too bad. They're like, the first responders will only be here in 2 hours time. So some of them are like, no, we're getting out of here. We're going to go get the police. The others are like, no, we're going to sit here, hunker down. We can take this killer for the next 2 hours if we're prepared for it, right? Which, I respect both sides of this. It is really interesting to me because in the original movie, there's a huge amount of the plot that involves them going and talking to the police officers, getting some help from them. They put a tap on the phone to see if they can find where the caller is coming from.
That's cool.
It's a whole thing, right? But they do not use the police in this movie even a little bit.
Well, I wonder, I mean, just reading a little bit about like the creation of this movie and why they went with like 2 killers instead of sorry, spoilers.
Oh God.
Why they went with 2 killers instead of just the one. A big reason for that is because the call coming from inside the house thing is a famous trope now.
Right.
And in 2006
which really started in 1974 with Black Christmas.
Exactly. So like the creative team was like, we can't reuse that plot twist,
right?
Because everyone expects it now. Yeah, it's Asbestos now.
But also,
so they were
mean, it is a remake of an existing movie, right? So like, you don't have to get originative and creative with it, right?
And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like you can keep the kills tense enough with just one killer, but they really, really pushed for the 2.
Yeah, I don't understand why. But so now the groups are splitting up, right? So we have Lauren, Melissa, Kelly, and Lee are staying home, and that's. Honestly, I don't remember what these characters are entirely. I know one of them, I think it's Lee, is Claire's sister. Yeah. So she's going to stay back at the house. And then Mrs. Mack, who we haven't mentioned at all, by the way, she's a character who's basically like the caretaker of the house, I guess is kind of her role.
Oh, her.
Yeah, right? You forgot about her, right? She is a character who, like, I don't know much about sorority houses, but I assume some actual adult has to take care of the house.
Nothing.
No, I know nothing about sorority houses. But there's a woman, her name is Mrs. Mack. She's basically like the actual adult woman of the house who takes care of it, takes care of the girls, like she's their fun, cool mom, basically, of the sorority house.
Not to be confused with Bernie Mac.
No, of course not. Which is who?
Never mind. Keep going.
You don't want to get into that?
No, we don't need to. If you don't know, it's funny.
So, funny enough, Miss Mack in this movie is played by Andrea Martin, who was actually in the original 1974 movie Black Christmas, who played one of the sorority girls. Her name was Phil, I think was her name.
That's
either
the
Phil,
word.
Phil, or like, it's like it's short for like Phyllis.
No.
It's like Phyll. It's me, Phil. But it's just kind of cute to me that like they brought her back for this movie. Anyway, her and Heather, who is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's characters, they're like, okay, we're getting out of here. We're getting in the car and we're going to drive away. And there's like this, they try to build tension of like them getting in the car, scraping snow off the car.
Bad.
And they're like, oh no, the car won't start. There's, oh no, it's not starting. And then, woo, okay, so the car started. That's like, I didn't feel that much for that, if I'm being honest.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. I see what you did there, Derek.
Asbestos.
This is the bestest. Asbestos is the bestest. So, as Miss Mack and Heather try to leave, we see that Billy, or one of the killers at this point, is actually inside of the car. So Mrs. Mack is like, oh, I got to scrape the snow off the windshield, right? So she gets out of the car, goes to scrape the snow off the windshield. We see Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Heather character just explode inside the car and just like blood splatter all over the windshield from inside.
I want to know what he did.
Yeah, what could he possibly... He doesn't have a gun or anything like that.
You're telling me he did this with that fucking unicorn?
Yeah, there's no goddamn way. The way the head exploded was like there had to be some explosive device in her head or something. 12 years ago, he planted he gave her some
planted
food.
C4 inside this woman's
inside
head.
her brain. It was really
it was the asbestos.
It was the asbestos that made her head explode. Billy cannot take credit for that one.
Asbestos is the explosive
explosionist. Asbestos is the explosionist. Oh, that's terrible.
Good. No, it's good.
So Heather's head explodes in some manner, right? And then Miss Mack is so like blown away by this basically explosion. Don't laugh at that. That's terrible. She's blown away by the. She like backs up, hits the wall of the house, which makes this gigantic icicle fall down from the roof right into her face, and then she dies. Billy cannot have credit for that one. He didn't even do that one.
No, he definitely did, though. You know he did.
He did somehow. He's a mastermind. He's like fucking. He's like Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, if you would zoom out, like if you would pay attention, Isaac, as a viewer of the movie, instead of taking notes the whole time.
You're right. Yeah, fuck me for taking notes.
You would have noticed the scene before when they're trying to get into the house. Freaking Billy sitting up there with a chisel, hitting the icicle,
just slowly. I'm like this
will be perfect.
But there's like a 5-minute deleted sequence where he's like, is it? No, it's probably not that one. I'm thinking maybe
this one's more typo.
How about we just do all of them and maybe we'll just see.
B negative. I don't know.
He's making his blood icicles. He's got a business to run on the side because listen, he's got some revenge to settle for these people who are in his house. Whatever, that's a whole thing. But like, he just got out of prison. He's gonna need some money.
It's just really awkward when he shows up to deliver his bicycles, and it turns out that they just wanted bicycles.
Don't you just drop bicycles like that's not a crazy thing to say?
Bicycles. They wanted a bike.
Bicycles? I thought you wanted
bicycles.
Blood blood type O.
Must have been a typo.
It's me. I'm the wacky character, Jaundiced Billy. Oh, I think another reason, like him being yellow, like it seemed like they wanted to make him an iconic killer.
Yeah,
akin to like
about that.
Yeah,
for a
akin to
while.
like your Michael Myers and Freddy's and Jason's.
They were
all that
trying
kind
to
of
give
stuff.
him a call, like a calling card.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Something that was
Something you could print on
instantly
a t-shirt.
recognizable. They had an excess amount of yellow jumpsuits.
Yes,
And they were like, we need to sell something at Spirit Halloween this year. And this is what it's
this is what we're gonna do. I have so many yellow morph suits, and this is gonna sell.
Billy.
Be Jaundiced Billy
Comes with a little
Ooh.
eyeball that you can put in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
A fake icicle.
I'm loving thinking about a scenario that plays out where you're like at a Halloween party. Someone's like, dress as your favorite character from like a horror movie. You know, you got your typical character. Someone's dressed as the Babadook. Someone's dressed as Megan from that movie, you know? And then someone's just in a fucking morph suit holding eyeballs. Ooh, it's me.
But they like
Who
carry around.
invited this guy to the
They
party?
carry around a plank of wood that they could look through with their one eye.
Ooh, I'm looking.
I don't know who you are. I'm Jaundiced Billy.
Hey, Derek, your phone's ringing. No, it's just John. It's him over.
Just Jaundiced Billy.
Ooh, I'm calling you on the phone. Ooh,
Is
where's
the call
Agnes?
coming from inside the house?
Oh, it's scary.
Agnes.
We didn't invite you. We didn't invite you for a reason.
I just escaped the mental institution.
Ooh.
Santa was there.
He's sitting here holding the eyeballs in front of his face like it's a funny thing. Ooh.
And then he turns out to be a serial killer.
Then he's
Kills the whole
actually a
house.
crazy killer.
Yeah, it's actually just Art the Clown.
That's Art would do something like that.
Absolutely.
We need in the next Terrifier movie, Art shows up to a party like dressed as Art's dressed as Art, but like a bad costume of him, right?
Yes.
That'd be pretty funny,
That
actually.
would be really good.
Hey, Damian Leone, if you're looking
bud.
for some ideas for
That's
the
a
next,
pretty good idea.
you probably never listened to this, and that's okay.
No.
Anyway, we got to get back into the movie. So then, the killer goes and sneaks into Lauren's room as she's sleeping. Again, she's the girl who threw up too much and had to take a shower. She's asleep in her room, and then she stabs her with the glass unicorn thing. Right, stabs her once with it fatally, of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course. If there's one way to stab someone with a glass unicorn, it's fatally. Yeah. But really nothing much to mention about that except the fact that Lauren's dead now.
Yeah, it's over.
And
Her eyes
which
are
is so
gone.
sad because there's a scene like this again. I can't tell you too much about the original one. There's a scene like this kill where the glass unicorn is utilized for the one and only time in the movie. It's a very good scene. That's all I will say. There's Christmas caroling.
Did you like that movie?
I liked that movie, Derek.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I'll get up on my high horse.
Is it my turn? Finally?
It's just a good movie. That's all.
Oh. Well, I'll go.
He's so
Hey,
sad
Count
about it.
Olivia, give me one of those bicycles.
Here you go. Okay, so Kelly's boyfriend is back. His name is Kyle.
Guess who's back?
There's some really unnecessary plot
Back
line where like
again.
it's Kyle and he's a useless character.
And he's got porn.
Yeah, Derek, do you want to tell them a little bit about that
Why
useless
me?
plot?
Why? What?
'Cause you brought it up.
High horse, will you tell them? Yeah. So listen, they've got pornography on the computer of like his girlfriend, and he's watching it.
Yeah.
And she finds out and gets mad.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a character who does become something of a final
He's
girl
gonna
in this
tell
movie.
you anyway.
She finds out her boyfriend Kyle has some like sex tape of him and somebody else. I don't even really know who
I couldn't tell if it was her or someone else.
I sincerely could not tell who
No,
it
me
was.
neither.
But she gets pissed about it. Anyway, she kicked him out of the house a while
whole
ago.
plot.
Now he's back again,
Guess
trying
who's
to
back?
push us on us. You can't do the bit again. Trying to push on us that he's some kind of killer, right? And like that doesn't work anymore. This red herring doesn't work. Because guess what? There's a red herring in the original one that actually does work.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. And I can't tell you about
It's a
it.
big bird,
It's
it's red.
It's a big bird and it's red, not like the yellow one that you're used to.
Are herrings bird or fish?
Oh shit.
man.
I think. Oh god. No, because a heron is a bird. I think a herring is a fish. Please tell me I'm right about this. I'm so scared now, Derek.
I don't know, man. It's a logical
Oh,
fallacy.
God. While you look this up, Kelly is one of our final girls here. Kelly discovers that the killer or killers are up in the
fish.
attic. It's a fish, okay. Everybody who was curious, a herring is a fish.
Yeah.
And a heron is a bird. So she discovers that the killers are up in the attic because she tries calling the phones of the deceased people and they're ringing upstairs. For some reason, she can see the light of the phone shining through the ceiling.
This was so stupid.
I don't understand how that worked. That was kind of weird. So now the last people that are alive are Lee, who is Claire's sister, Kelly, and Kelly's cheating boyfriend, Kyle. They sneak their way up into the attic to see if anyone is still alive. Because on the phone, they heard more than one voice talking. So they're like, one of the girls has to be alive. We must go rescue them. So Kyle is the first one who's going up into the attic. He gets pulled up into the attic by Agnes. So we now see a fully adult Agnes, which we haven't seen at this point.
No, yeah.
Because we're led to believe it's just Billy, but like, who the fuck, who's believing
thinks
that?
Why would they even introduce her as a character if they weren't going to use her?
I really think that it was a huge misstep for them to tell us she was still alive.
Oh, yeah. If they had left her dead on the floor and that's it,
that would have worked better.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then maybe I would have believed, okay, maybe this guy could be something of a killer. Maybe Billy's doing something. I don't know. But no, we knew the entire time Agnes was also here, right?
Yep.
So Kyle gets pulled up into there. Again, plastic bag over the face, gets stabbed right into the eyeball with the glass unicorn. It's just every single time. Then she eats the eye, and that was unnecessary. I really don't understand.
To gain sight.
Yeah, I really don't understand why this is happening. So now up in the attic, the only ones left alive are Kelly and Lee. Now we just have those two to worry about. Kelly. So Billy's in here now, and he lights some candles around his... He has... What?
Back again.
Oh my God. Billy's here. So now Billy is lighting candles around his vicious Christmas display. It's like all the dead bodies strung around this Christmas tree with these Christmas lights running through them. Their eyes are missing. Like it's a pretty gory sight, I would say. Honestly, we've kind of glossed over it. This is one of the more like brutal movies we've watched for the podcast.
We're giving more description than I thought we would.
Yeah.
But even then, this movie was very graphic.
Yeah, it was incredibly graphic, which I think you actually hit the nail on the head about the fact that it's like this movie is a post-Saw movie, right? And like that is certainly the point where movies became more graphic. We kept having to push the envelope.
Every time people went to a new slasher movie, they're like, guess who's back?
Oh my.
Back again.
Who's back, Derek? Who's got
Saw.
The Jigsaw Killer is in every horror movie from then on. But so Lee manages to escape the attic because she falls through a hole in the floor.
There's so much asbestos in there.
There's so much asbestos. She fell through the floor. So Agnes and Kelly fight, and Kelly is able to stab right into Agnes's eye, but then Agnes just grabs whatever she stabbed her with and pulls it out because it was the fake eyeball.
Oh my God, she's the sister.
It's the sister. How could we have ever
I just
known?
didn't see that coming at all.
It's just this movie really lays way too much out for you on a silver platter, and I really did not appreciate it. So anyway, they're fighting. At some point, as they are fighting, they knock over the Christmas tree, which knocks over one of the candles, which starts to light the house on fire.
Yeah, but only like in a small portion of the house.
It takes a second, right? But so
not enough asbestos.
No, it's kind of really stupid. So anyway, shut up, Derek. Guess who's back? It's Asbestos. Your very good friend. So somehow during their fight, Kelly and Agnes fall into like the between space in the wall, kind of like the crawl space, I guess.
Okay, so I actually liked this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just kind of worked.
Yeah.
They're like fighting through the crawl space of the wall. It was pretty good.
It's really fun because Agnes falls all the way to the bottom, and then Kelly is in between, like in the middle of the wall, and then Billy's up at the top. So it's like they're both coming towards her. She's in the middle of the wall. What do you do? You know, it's kind of fun. Then the burning Christmas tree falls into the walls with them. Kelly manages to escape through a hole in the wall that Lee punches. She finds the spot where she's at, and like bam, bam, bam. She takes like a weight or something is smashing into the wall. She's able to pull her through. So then Billy and Agnes are left inside the wall with this burning tree, and then they're weirdly in a room that has paint thinner in it, and so they're just like, okay, yeah, spray it all over the walls.
I mean, everybody's got paint thinner in their
of course,
laundry
yeah,
room,
you got
right?
paint thinner right in the room right next to us.
Yeah,
right?
the laundry room.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
paint thinner.
So then, they just light the house ablaze, and then like, okay, I guess we succeeded. We did it, right? So fast forward, we're at the hospital now. One man is working in the morgue alone. Then a body bag he brought in unzips itself.
Guess who's back?
God fucking damn it.
Back again.
You're right, though. You're really right. This one man goes to inspect the body bag. He sees the dead body, right? It's Agnes, right? And he's like, okay, body's still dead, same as before. But then what's that? Above her?
Guess who's back? Back again.
Billy hops out of the body bag just above Agnes's and kills the man with like this bone saw off camera.
Yeah,
you just see like blood
gnarly.
splattering. Like, it's
Yeah, they definitely did that when they were out of budget.
Yes.
I do know that specific scene was a reshoot.
That
the movie had a
tracks.
different ending.
That-
and then the ending was originally supposed to be like the original
more
movie.
like the original movie, right?
And then they were like, nah. I am one of the Weinstein.
One of the shitty Weinstein
I
brothers.
need you to remake the ending.
All right.
Make them come back from the dead.
It's terrible. It's awful. But yeah, so I guess from here on, this is going to be the ending that they ended up going with, which is not like the original. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're here in the hospital. Billy kills this guy who's there, and Agnes is also alive. Also, they are barely burnt at all. That house was
They're
going up
completely
in
fine.
flames,
And they
Like,
were next to all the asbestos, man.
Yeah,
They'd
like-
be dead.
they'd be kindling. Like there's no way. And it's like they should have put at least a little more work into the makeup because they did have a little bit of
Again,
practical
though, I think
burn
this
on
was
them.
because of the
Reshoots,
'Cause
lack
they
of budget.
The original ending was literally supposed to be them. You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't
if they're
know what
alive or
happened to
not.
them. Yeah, you
That's
just find
fair.
out what happens to the main girls.
Which I would have loved to see,
Oh,
but
that'd been
instead, no,
awesome.
we're here, we're doing this. So Kelly's been checked into this hospital too now after the entirety of her falling into a house, fighting with Agnes. It's been a whole thing, right? Billy and Agnes start climbing into the ceilings of this hospital to sneak around. Lee walks into a room that she thinks is Kelly, right? She's like, Kelly, are you okay? She actually finds Agnes in the bed, who attacks her and then snaps her neck. Just real quick, just one, she's dead. Okay, so now Lee is also dead. They just really wanted to kill more people for some reason, right? So Kelly is in her hospital room right now. She's alone. She looks up and she sees blood pooling in one of like the ceiling lights, which was kind of a cool effect.
was pretty cool.
I did kind of like that one. So she's like, "Oh shit, I'm in danger." So what does she do?
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. She runs over to the defibrillator and then immediately turns around and zaps Agnes before she can kill her, right? Because Agnes just barely broke into the room.
guess who's zapped?
Guess.
Zapped again.
Okay. You know, that's not terrible.
It was a callback.
I like that one. A callback to the callback over and over again. So anyway, she, I guess, kills Agnes in defibrillating her with this machine. She cranks it to high voltage. Like, we're killing this girl. So then, guess who's back? Back again. Yeah. Then Billy appears in all his yellow glory. There's not even much to mention. There's a bit of a struggle as he chases Kelly down the halls. He ends up tripping over this ledge and down onto the pointy star of a Christmas tree.
Guess
It
who
just-
stabbed?
Stabbed again. And it just completely impales him in the middle. His guts are all up over it. And then the movie just kind of fades to black.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Fades to Black Christmas.
Fades to Black Christmas. So that's it. That's Black Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Guess what's over?
Over
Finally
again.
over.
So that's Black Christmas. Derek, do you want to talk about our expectations?
I do. Thank you for asking in such a nice, cordial way.
Of course, I'm nothing if not a gentleman, of course. So I said really changing things from the original, and they really did that for sure. My God, did they change things? It's a little jarring how different they were from the original.
My first expectation was full camp, but this is something that I wish was more.
I wish there was more of it.
The acting and the script were like super campy, but the
Yes.
cinematography and the editing and honestly the gore was just taking itself way too seriously.
But it was also like really good, though.
it was good.
Like we didn't
Yeah.
mention that at all, but like the cinematography in it stood out to
It
me.
was fantastic,
And the
but that's-
lighting in it?
It was a disservice.
Yes.
that the cinematography was so good because if the cinematography was more cheesy, more campy,
Yeah.
you can have those good shots in there, but it was such a departure from what everyone else in the movie.
No,
was
exactly.
doing.
And that's the thing. It's like one or the other had to change, right? It's
Yeah.
like either the either like the one had to be campier or one had to be more serious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said cleaner but gorier, and I'd say that's a little correct on my end because there's longer sequences of Billy on the phone in the original one where he says some like pretty messed up, really gross threats kind of stuff that like honestly made me uncomfortable. There wasn't as much of this in this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gratuitous violence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
No, really not.
I didn't.
I see what you did there.
Thanks.
I said much more intricate kills and much more eye-opening kills, if you know what I mean.
I don't get that joke.
Oh, well, you see, it's because in the movie Black Christmas
All right, so my
2006, they do a lot of talk about, they're doing a lot of bits about eyeballs, and like there was, someone gets stabbed in the eyeball, then it happens again with a pen, and then with a unicorn, and I was hoping you would just keep going, and I'd just be talking.
The joke's back again.
That's your next one.
Over-sexualized frat girls for no reason whatsoever. Not really.
No,
it was
not
kind of
really.
just the one girl in the shower, but that wasn't even over-sexualized.
No.
The porn thing was a little just too much. It was kind
Weird
of just
and unnecessary.
completely unnecessary
Yeah.
and forgettable.
Truly. I said annoying main characters, and sincerely, I did not care for any of these sorority
I
girls.
had forgotten about half of them.
Yes, which is a huge part of what makes a horror movie enjoyable, right? Like you need somebody to root for. You need a character that you like. And I really like all of the characters in the original Black Christmas, which is like comparing it to Halloween again. Like Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie, you like her.
Oh, yeah, you love
She's likable. I do not like all the other girls in it. They're actually like kind of assholes to Jamie Lee Curtis the whole time.
That's right.
She's likable, but like most of the girls, even the ones who were like kind of the rude characters in the movie, are still likable in some way, right? But yeah, didn't really care for any of the characters in this one.
Absolutely. Over-explained villain. And as we gave it to you all up front, but that was spoon-fed to us like every 20 minutes.
Lord,
there was
it
another
was so
scene.
hard. And you were right. It really like broke up the flow of the movie.
There was no continuity.
No, it ruined it.
And it did a really, like, the cinematography was great. However, the editing left something to be desired as far as like when it would shift between the past and the present.
Yeah.
Half the time I could not tell what time period I was in. It was just like either there was a small little yellow boy or a big yellow boy.
Yeah, because like they do a thing where they give you like it's 1991. They post the year somewhere up on it, but then coming back to the present, they do not. There's nothing like that.
No.
It's not back in present day.
Yeah. And it just was hard to tell.
It was just really hard to tell. Absolutely. My last expectation just said definitely some nudity, and like Derek said, really not nearly as much as I thought. Really hardly any besides that girl's backside, and that was pretty much it.
Backside.
What
are you from?
Guess who's
grade?
back again. It's her backside.
That's
And it was
stupid.
just used once.
That was dumb. No continuity at all. And yeah, like we were just talking about, this movie was kind of all over the place. It tried to explain all over the place with the twist, but the twist was so obvious.
So obvious, literally in the first 30 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as, we noticed it when that first kill happened.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, wait, he's still in the mental institution and someone just died. That person didn't look yellow.
Yeah, so I was like, unless they're going to do a thing where we're seeing two different, like slightly off of each other timelines, that means there's two killers.
But again, that would have made sense because the continuity made no sense.
Of course, yeah. So should we discuss our surprises for this one?
Is that still funny? I've done that like 100 episodes.
You got to keep doing it now. It's a staple in what we do. So surprises for me, the lighting and the cinematography often stood out to me. Just because it felt like it belonged in a better movie, right? Like, I mean, we kind of talked about that, like, in a less campy movie, but it was just really, really good, right?
It was great.
What the hell is up with the eyeballs? Like, who hurt Glenn Morgan? Are his eyes okay? Like, I don't understand why why the eyes were such a huge thing for him in this movie. I was surprised that the kills were much gorier and a bit more brutal than I was expecting. Going as far as to cut out gingerbread cookies from flesh was crazy.
It was insane.
I mean, that being said, the effects for all of these bits were actually pretty impressive. So it gets that from me. You know, I think it is really good in that regard. The whole explanation of Billy as a character, they gave him an entire unnecessary backstory that ruins what made him a good killer in the original one. Like, again, don't want to spoil too much, but like, why did they tell us so much about him? Part of what makes any killer, any monster, any scary thing scarier is not knowing about it.
Yeah,
like the mystery around it, right? And they really, really ruined that. Why was he yellow? Why was he yellow?
I don't know. They wanted him to be Big Bird.
I wanted him to be jaundiced, I guess.
Oh, he's jealous.
And then my last surprise was just how far they strayed from the original. It's a good story that worked. It didn't need to change that much.
So honestly, same surprises all across the board.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise though, half of the trailer was not in the movie.
Holy shit.
And we found out why, and I'm just going to talk about it. You
Go,
have plenty
please.
of trivia. So we did find out the stupid Weinstein brothers,
Boo.
they awful, terrible human beings, scum of the earth. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
there's no
they're
defending
terrible.
those.
There's
pieces
a reason.
Of shit.
Yeah, there's a reason The Substance came out, and the main TV producer shit man was named Harvey.
Yeah, there's a big reason. Anyway, they saw what they had filmed and were like, we need more gore.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why the movie ended with so much gore. And also, they were like, we're going to take a whole filming crew and one character from this movie, and we're going to go reshoot some stuff. So in the trailer, if you go watch the trailer, which I highly recommend you do, there is a scene with a chain, like a lawnmower with Christmas lights on
wrapped
it,
around it that's pulling in a
someone
character. There's a scene where there's a girl who finds another girl trapped underneath a lake.
Michelle
that doesn't happen.
Trachtenberg's character is holding a shotgun in one scene.
Yeah, and
for
then
some reason.
there's a shot where Billy is up on the ceiling
to
crawling around.
show that he's supernatural or something.
None of that is in
the movie.
any cut of
None
the
of that
movie
is in the
either.
movie.
They do not use it. It was just like the ultimate clickbait to pull people in.
Yeah, it was clickbait before clickbait. So in a sense, the most awful people on earth created clickbait.
It's crazy.
Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, I mean that totally tracks.
Yep.
But was that all your surprises then?
Yeah, you said all my other surprises.
So it's time for the verdict, right? I don't know exactly what to give this one. I just that one, it does not live up to the original one. I did say that was ho horrible.
That's
but
just funny.
It's slowly, it's kind of funny, but it's slowly growing on me a little bit more. I'm thinking maybe it's just because I'm coming at it from a harsh place due to my love of the original. But I will say this remake took many wrong turns and lost what made the original such an important staple in the slasher subgenre, right? The gore was a bit much, which we can blame on the Weinsteins, right? And the whole backstory for Billy really ruined what made him a great killer in the original 70s movie, right? What does stand out is some good cinematography and some good effects, but this movie would have benefited if it was just its own thing rather than a remake of an iconic movie, honestly.
I like that.
So when Billy calls this Christmas season, tell him 1974 wants their movie back.
Hey, that's good. That's good. So I'm going to go with that was horrible.
Okay.
For this one. Black Christmas is arguably one of the better slashers from the early 2000s. It isn't perfect at all. I mean, we just discussed for an hour and a half how it's not perfect. It has a lot of issues with pacing, continuity, story, and really everything but cinematography.
Yeah.
But the shocking kills were fun to scream at, and it had some pretty decent moments and kills. I would, however, say you take maybe 50 years into a trip 50 years into the past and watch the original one before making your trip to 2006. Maybe turn a light on and have a bright Christmas instead.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yes, that is pretty good, Daddy.
Oh, what's up? You have a nice icicle?
It's me, Count Trivia.
You riding around in your...
So the horse put something crazy in my blood sickles, man. I feel crazy right now.
But you loved it. We had a very fun time.
I feel like I could fly. Am I flying?
Go,
Count
go,
Trivia,
go,
you
go.
could always fly. That's nothing new.
But
I'm flying.
Look at me. I'm flying.
I'm flying away. Look,
Waggy.
with my horse friend. Goodbye.
Waggy, waggy, woo.
Well, at least he left some trivia here before he ran away.
I think High Horse just flew away.
Wait a minute. Yeah, Count Trivia was not holding him.
No.
He flew away all on his
He's
own.
off into the sky.
They got into the pixie dust, I guess, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So trivia for this week for Black Christmas 2006. I'm not going to forget the name of the movie right at the end.
That makes sense.
Andrea Martin, who played Phyllis back in the original Black Christmas 1974, said in an interview that she hadn't thought about Black Christmas in 32 years, and it, quote, came out of the blue when Glenn Morgan offered her the role as the house mother in the movie. So she just kind of put it in her rear view. She's like, that movie that happened now, for who knows about it. Glenn Morgan approached Mary Elizabeth Winstead about the movie at 4 a.m. in the airport after finishing Final Destination 3 from 2006 with her. After being hesitant at first after only just finishing a horror movie, she agreed to the role of Heather because she is a fan of the 1974 version of the movie.
Makes sense.
So she's like, I like this one. We'll give it a shot, right? After this film's critical and financial failure, Bob Clark, the director of the original one, began work on a straight-up sequel to the original with Clark as the director and Olivia Hussey and John Saxon reprising their roles as Jess Bradford and Lieutenant Ken Fuller, respectively, with Jess being the new house mother of the sorority house. So there was a whole sequel that was in the works. But then his untimely passing, however, prevented this idea from ever coming to fruition. Dang. So there could have been a Black Christmas 2, which could have been really interesting. Apparently, all the girls did their own stunts.
Cool.
Which is kind of neat.
That means she really fell down that wall.
I guess so, which did look pretty real.
It did look real and painful. We commented on that, actually.
No, absolutely.
We were like, oh, that looked real. And it hurt.
So I guess it really was then.
Oh, my God.
So Glenn Morgan and the Weinstein brothers, Harvey and Bob, reportedly often clashed during filming due to their insistence that the film be more gory, which Morgan did not approve of. One egregious example is the cannibalistic tendencies of the killers, such as Billy making flesh cookies out of his mother's skin, which was not in the original script and only shoehorned into the film just to make it gorier, right? So again, Weinstein's really coming in and trying to ruin it. Amanda Seyfried auditioned for the lead role of Kelly, but lost it to Katie Cassidy. The filmmaker stated that when they turned her down, it was because they didn't want two Mean Girls from 2004 actresses, because Amanda Seyfried and Lacey Chabert, because she was in the movie as one of the other sorority girls. So they didn't want two girls from Mean Girls in this movie.
That makes sense.
Like that'd be kind of weird, right? And then this is kind of interesting. The last one I have, the flashback sequences with Billy's family were filmed first, and the present day scenes with the sorority sisters were filmed next, so that they have the dilapidated house be easily decorated with Christmas ornaments instead of having to do the whole process back and forth.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So they filmed all of the Billy flashback sequences, then all the rest of the movie.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was kind of neat. But yeah, that is our trivia for Black Christmas. That is all we have for you this week. I hope you were feeling the Christmas spirit and having a really good time.
Yeah, next week we are going to be uploading our top 10 horror of the year.
Oh,
it's here,
goodness.
Dude. It's here.
We had to hold off just a little bit because you know what comes out on Christmas Day?
John Candy visits the supermarket.
Give me a synopsis on John Candy visits the supermarket day.
It's me, John Candy. I'm going to go buy
He's dead.
I'm buy a candy bar.
John Candy's great.
Love John Candy.
He's great. He's wonderful. But yeah, Nosferatu is coming out on Christmas Day, and I'm very, very excited to go see that one.
I didn't give you a synopsis. I just said it.
Nah, that was it.
That's so stupid.
You giving me a scene from the movie is just like giving me a synopsis, really.
You're right.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that is like really the last movie we are waiting on, and then we are going to give you our full top 10 video just like last year that we did, and I'm excited about it. I don't know.
Me too. I'm stoked.
I'm nervous.
This year's different, man. Like last year, I was pushing to find movies to fit in my top 10.
Absolutely
This year, I have like 45 logged horror movies.
I don't know what
I
have to cut from my top 10. It's gonna be really hard, actually.
It's like all obvious ones.
Yeah.
And I want to like have some fun.
I know.
with there.
I want to be those cool podcasts. So I watched
so-
this really cool indie art house film.
I
you
watched
know?
Trap.
Shut up. Trap better not be on that list.
It's not.
Okay.
Or
good.
unless-
Derek.
I'm an actor.
So hopefully next from us, you will be seeing our wonderful top 10 horror releases of 2024 video. I'm very excited to film that, put that together. It's going to be a really good time. And then the next movie we watch is going to be out of the Christmas season at this point.
Yeah, dude.
Derek, do you remember what we were going to be watching for next week?
Gorgo
from 1961. It's been a minute since we've watched a really old movie like we did with the Roman movie, right?
Roman.
So this time we're going back to 1961 with this movie that is pretty much just a ripoff of Godzilla.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, his name is Gorgo.
Gorgo, exactly. So to tell you a bit about that one, synopsis of Gorgo from 1961. Greedy sailors capture a giant lizard off the coast of Ireland and sell it to a London circus, inciting the wrath of the creature's much larger mother.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's it. So
Gorgo.
catch us next year to be watching Gorgo.
Oh!
That's crazy. That's super crazy.
Oh!
That's wild. One more time.
Wilhelm Street. Whoa!
And then next year, you catch us in another episode. You're going to be like, guess who's back? Back again.
I'm going to go listen to that song for the first time, I think.
Really. But also, before we leave you, we cannot let you go without your Garfield horoscope. And guess who's back?
It's
back
yeah.
again. It's the Garf
that
Man.
joke's not funny anymore.
It's
man.
not? No. I thought it was great. I really liked it.
Asbestos is the bestest.
Oh my God. So we have a simple 3-panel comic for you here today from Garfield. Panel 1, he says, I'm putting out a cupcake for Santa. Puts out a gigantic cupcake. Just says, call it a little last-minute insurance.
I want to be the concept of putting out a giant cupcake.
Really, I want to be the God. What do I want? What's some stupid that I can be? I want to be last-minute insurance.
Well, that's basically what I'm doing.
What? Fine. I want to be the space, the empty space before a cupcake enters the space.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
So much like when you're on your deathbed and you go crying to God because you've made a lot of mistakes in your life, don't be like that. Spend your life happy and how you want and how you feel fulfilled so that when you are finally there, when it's the day before Christmas, when it's the day before you enter the afterlife, if there is one, make sure that you feel comfortable with that. That you don't need that last minute insurance, that you are comfortable and you can close your eyes and drift off into the great beyond that is death.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's kind of haunting, which is very like Christmas, honestly.
Yeah.
There's that one Christmas song. It's like, there'll be scary ghost stories and tales of good glory. Like every time I listen to that, I'm like, who the fuck is telling spooky stories around a fire at Christmas time?
But we need to start doing that.
We really do need to start doing that.
Also, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. It's a pagan holiday.
Yeah.
So it was a lot cooler before fucking monetization got
That's true.
into
Before Mariah Carey got her hands on it.
Fucking Mariah Carey. She makes so much money on that song every year.
Every year.
And she re-releases it every year to make more money.
It's insane.
And we're letting this happen.
We're just letting this happen
right now.
Anyway, that space before the cupcake enters it. Christmas is coming up, or some holidays coming up. Hanukkah is also the same day as Christmas this year, which is kind of a fun fact. And so there might be some fun gift you got. So hold yourself some space for that fun little something you're getting.
There. Hey, that was really good.
Yeah, it's a little topical. Anyway, hold space for this wonderful thing you might be getting, or just hold space for the joy of Christmas and the spirit of it, or ghost stories.
Or hold space for our social medias.
Hold space for our social media. Derek, I could kiss you. That was the best transition I could ever ask for. Join us on our social medias, please. We are on Instagram at _was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Was Horrible.
That was pretty good. You got that out quick.
Yeah, I got
faster than we got out this episode.
A little bit.
It's our last episode of the year. What do you want?
We're excited.
What do you want from us?
Please check us out on all of those socials. We'll be talking more about any projects that we're a part of, like Derek's video for I Saw Zombie Killing Santa Claus. And then we will also be posting our video of the top 10 2024 movies of the year. I'm curious.
Number one movie is definitely Trap.
God damn it. I'm still undecided. There are a lot of things that still need to shift around in my list, so I need to go and figure that list out. But in the meantime, please have a happy holidays, have a wonderful time, have a happy new year. And as always, please, Garfield
be with you. Stay spooky.
Goodbye.